Okay, we are live, people. All right. Welcome to another Friday nights with Nate, and you got Dog here tonight. So thank you, James, for coming out.
Yes, sir.
So we always do
Always a
this.
good time.
Last week we had T Man here, and Lord knows when you get T Man on the show, you gotta wonder if he's gonna
Mm,
be asleep or not.
you never know with T-Man.
But yeah, it's got a couple things tonight I wanted to go over. Pick Dude's brain about it too. First things first, we got to talk about is the Has Lab that failed.
Mm,
So yeah, so I'm
probably
one of
one
these.
of the greatest jokes in recent collecting history.
I don't know which is worse, that one or the Cookie Monster, to tell you the truth.
I'm trying to figure out myself. I'm like, man, Cookie Monster. Because when people like me and you, grown men, wake up, we're like, man, I really want a Cookie Monster, man. Like I don't know why that failed. I don't know. I don't
I don't know
understand
either. All I
why
could think of
Cookie
is like,
Monster.
we've had that. We had a lightsaber that nobody wanted.
Boy,
It's like if I was thinking about a lightsaber, like, all right, who do you think about? You think of Darth Vader, Palpatine, Obi Wan, Qui Gon,
Luke.
yeah, Luke. It's like you think of those, like even the Kylo Ren one or the Darth Maul one, like,
Right. Darth
you know,
Maul. There you go.
exactly, something like that. But I'm like, no. But I tell you, the one that would have been cool to see would have been like Maltus or Magus, whatever it's called now. Darth Malta. Because it's got it's a beveled edge and it's long. I'm like, oh, that looks badass. I want that one.
Well,
Hey, Thor.
you know, unfortunately, I don't know who's running stuff around here, but it has Roland. Unfortunately, from what I'm seeing here recently, there's a huge disconnect of what their fans actually want and what they're trying to act like they think we want.
Yeah,
And they're finding out that they wrong straight up.
they are furthest from
Big
wrong as we
time.
can get. Hey,
Big time.
hey, Keith, how you doing, brother? So the biggest thing that I've noticed lately with this Hasbro is exactly that point: is they are disconnected from their fans. Like, um, there's no reason why, like Serpentor, for example, like I missed out on
Hmm.
Serpentor the first time. Luckily,
Right.
got it the second round it came through.
I got it the second round also.
There's no reason why that should be a limited release. Like if you look at some of their things, like that's one of the biggest characters in GI Joe. I mean, after Cobra Commander, you always think of Serpentor. You think about Doctor Mindbender. Okay, we've got these ones, but why are they exclusives? These should be mass retail figures. That we get. Same way with all these other vintage ones that we're getting now at Walmart. It's like I've seen a lot of them at Walmart. I've seen Baroness, I've seen Destro, I've seen all of them, and they're actually staying on the pegs. So it's actually a good thing that way people can get them. But the issue I have is that it's limited in scope. Like for example, Duke, you can't go out and just buy Duke today. One of the
Right. That's
primary
right.
guys, and he's actually going for like $70 to $80 right now if you want to buy a Duke.
Lord.
And that's crazy because he's a $20 figure, you know.
Now, Thor just brought us something, and we ain't even get. Look, here's the thing about you don't have to get into all of the whatevers. This is just common sense, and this is
Hmm.
actually a thing that happens. So this is not me and Nate by any means getting political or whatever. Forget all that bullcrap. What I'm saying, this is an actual company that we all invest in all the doggone time. And then you got people like me. It was embarrassing seeing that clip of that lady sitting there in the
Hmm.
freaking GI Joe booth,
Panel.
and these 40-something-year-old men with the beards, country redneck looking dudes, laid back. They just want to know. All they want to know is, hey man, when's the next Outback coming out? That's all I want to know. I'm
Oh,
a nerd. I'm a
I hate you.
yeah. I had to do that on purpose. But anyway, when's the next? When's the next thing? But and then this woman gonna say, hey, before you do this, what's your pronoun? Woman, don't nobody give a flip. Nobody in that room gave a flip. What? You in a GI Joe? You got 40-year-old grown men, 40 plus year old talking some, and you're gonna ask a dumb question like that, like that's the kind of stuff gets under my skin too. Like the Thor was saying, like we ain't trying to get there again. You don't have to get political when you're asking a dumb question like that, and I'm not gonna apologize for it. That was ridiculous, and it was cringy, and I felt bad for the dude, the first guy that she actually asked that to. Dude, I would have been like, nah, I'm out. Like, you spend all your money into this whatever SCCC or whatever, and then get your badge and get your little ticket, however they do it now, and then you finally make it. You finally get there, and you finally get in for God's sake, man, a darn GI Joe of all things. You're excited, you're pumped, and then you get up there to ask a question, and then they ask you something stupid like that. Well, what's your pronoun? I'm like, it's a flip, dude.
See, where I'm from, a pronoun is part of grammar. It's not a thing.
Exactly.
But I mean, like, I would have just been like, I'm not sleeping. It's just like the camera's up here and I'm downwards like this. So it's like whatever position I get into is never gonna work. Like at least right now. But no, I would have responded with like geek, nerd, broke collector. What is it? I'd be like, my sarcasm would have been out being like, a nerd. That's why I'm here.
Exactly.
Right. That's why I'm here, dude. Like that's literally why I'm here. Geek, nerd. That's my pronoun. Like.
I mean, like I know I come into the end of the conversation, but yeah, I get tired of seeing the disconnect between like, so these guys and gals that claim that they're collectors working for these companies. I don't understand how there's such a big gap between like your audience and then them. I'm like, you guys act all giddy that you're making this stuff, but do you have any clue like who you're making it for? Like that's something that bothers me.
Exactly. You pretty much was saying
like the Transformer ones. When I'm seeing some like 25-year-old engineer, and I'm like, what do you know?
You have no idea like what should go into that bot, you know.
Yeah. And that's the frustrations with all that, man. It's like, dude, like nobody okay, I get it. All right, you want to turn friggin' Superman gay, whatever, dude. Like but what I'm saying is, if I'm in here in the geek world and I'm collecting this one thing, I'm sorry, but you know, Optimus Prime is Optimus Prime in my mind since I was, 6 years old. I don't need a gay Optimus Prime. I don't need nothing against gay people, nothing against homosexuals. I don't care. I really do not care. What I'm saying is, just give me my doggone Optimus Prime. Give me my Superman. Give me my Clark Kent. That's all I'm saying. Real simple, man.
Yeah.
But the other side of that though is you and Nate are huge comic book fans. Ever since they came out with the multiverse, everything's free game. You know, the fact that DC wanted to do a Black Superman. I don't read comics, like I enjoy like looking. I love the art, like it's probably my favorite thing. But I've never had the ability, nor did I have the resources to buy comics. But you look at a lot of people. I know people got all up in arms when they killed off Bruce Banner and they introduced the Hulk as being an Asian kid. The fact now that I believe Iceman is considered being gay. I don't care. You can do whatever you want, because if there's a continuity that you enjoy, then there's something for you. But they've got like a little bit of something for everybody. So, I mean, yeah, to us, like I look at Optimus Prime as always being a truck. I always look at him as, like I was kind of curious because I was like, I don't remember him being a Volvo, but seeing the picture of this Christmas edition, I'm like,
hey, I'm getting that one, buddy.
I was like,
I've ordered that.
But I looked at it, I was going to be like, is he a Volvo now? And I was like, okay.
The transition into a Volvo.
I was like, okay.
Old Peterbilt.
I mean, at least we know he'll be safe in Swedish. I mean, like, it's just the fact that you've got all these different multiverses, and then like even in Transformers, you can get into things like the IDW comics, whatever DreamWorks did. The animated series, and then obviously the huge divide became from G1 to the Japanese continuity. So for us Transformer collectors, which Simmons is, all lore god over here, they can do whatever they want. I mean, because and like I said, as soon as DC and Marvel did the whole multiverse system, then it's free game to do whatever you want.
Yeah, and
but as you got your version where you can sit there and like it, whether you like it or not. That's fine. That's why we're collectors. We all have different. It's tastes.
Almost like
I'm a Decepticon fan, and I get ragged on for it.
Well, like you actually mentioned the Iceman. That's actually a great example of what I'm talking about. So there again, people like me and Nate that read the comics forever since we were 10, 9, 8, whatever. Dude, I promise you, Bobby Drake has never insinuated ever. He was a ladies' man. He was always surrounded by, what I mean? So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's like, okay, Now, if you want to create a new mutant that just, that is gay, cool. Wow, zero issues, man. But turning everybody else into something they ain't, it's just like, man, come on. It is what it is.
Well, it's a hard line because I mean, you look at, like, for example, the history. You brought up, Bobby Drake. He's a good example of where they've changed a lot of things in Marvel and DC, to the point where you don't know what they are anymore. They're not the same characters that we grew up with. Like they're killing Superman again, and that was such a big event in the 90s.
Yeah, come on, man.
It's like, okay, and that's the problem with DC is DC rehashes itself every other year. And so they bring back the same stories or the same kind of ideas to do all over again. And then people are still buying it, So
I would be more excited in celebrating. Let's just, since we're on the topic, whatever, but the homosexual stuff. Okay, if I saw a character back when I was whatever, and I was like, just something in the back of my mind was like, I think that dude's gay. I think Beast's gay or whatever. And all of a sudden, 30 years now, I'm a grown man, 40 years old, and all of a sudden Beast came out as gay. I'd be like, I knew he was gay. You know what I mean? That would be more of a realistic, you know what I'm saying? Of an acceptance, I guess is the word. Because it would just feel more natural. But for something that was never, ever, then all of a sudden left turn, it's like, bro, come on now. Y'all just bored out here writing whatever. Don't even make no sense,
Yeah, I mean, and I can always play devil's advocate just because of my thought process just being the fact that, and Simmons brought up a good point. I feel, and it's not just comics, I feel like almost everything is rinse and repeat. Like everything, it's getting the older we get, the more and more that we see it. I don't feel like there's really anything new. Especially, I think the most stagnant thing to me feeling right now is Transformers. Just feels stagnant because every time they come out with something new, it still looks like garbage. It's still not catering to who really needs it. But then now, the fact that with globally, we're looking for things being more accepting. So me, I'm disabled. You have people in different limelights are being shown that way. Like Professor X, if you really deem it, this guy's disabled. He's a paraplegic. Right. Guy can't walk. But that's always been accepting from the get-go because we've always had people like that. Now the fact that you have people, the LGBTQ plus community, you're looking at people like non-binary, all of these things can now become to the limelight. And then sadly, I don't know, and I can't comment on this, but I would feel that Marvel and DC as well as other were just ooh, we can bring in more money because now we've got a bigger audience than just so-and-so nerd. And that's kind of that's the other side where I'm kind of yeah, there's some times where it works and there's other times being well, who would be the best one to revamp? And I mean, I don't know if that was the right choice, but I mean, I just know that it really did hit, I follow Nerdist and stuff. And I remember when Iceman, they made that announcement, that hit a lot of people really hard. Mm-hmm. So I was just okay.
Well, especially with the timelines, reading Iceman, when he was with Candy Southern, and Uncanny X-Men, he had his long-term girlfriend for 10 years in comics, right. He was always with her, and then she got killed by the Phalanx, and then he gets turned into Super Iceman by Emma Frost.
Right, right.
She unlocked
the Age of Apocalypse.
Exactly.
Similar.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, that rings a bell.
She unlocked his capabilities of being able to do a lot more than he could. And now in comics, he's got to that point where he's super powerful.
Is he an Omega level now or something?
He's an Omega level mutant now because he can go against anything almost, fire related or whatnot. He can melt himself and can bring back himself to life. He's learned how to do those kind of things. But it's kind of one thing though, when you push a character so far out to where he's not the same person that you grew up with anymore. He's been made to appeal to today's crowd versus our crowd when we grew up with them. Hell, even you look at, he's been around since the 1960s, when X-Men first came out in 1963.
Before I was born.
Way before all of us were born, But
I'm 80s,
So I mean, it's kind of funny. Some of these characters, that's, you think about it, that's 60-something years old, as how long Iceman and these guys have been around. Just rechange their character profiles just to fit a a stereotype or trying to fit into what the mold they want them to make. That's how you alienate your fans, your long-term fans that's been around forever. That's how I got alienated from Marvel and DC because I got tired of all the storylines changing anything and everything. Like Wolverine is my favorite character from Marvel, but how many times are they going to kill Wolverine? Like how many times are they going to change him again? Make him into the Phoenix, make him into super hot clawed Wolverine or whatever.
Yeah, that was
It's
weird.
like infuse him with an Infinity Stone. Come on now, he's Wolverine. Okay, come on. He's got adamantium claws. He's a badass. He kills everybody, and then that's it. End of story. That's all it ever was.
Look, man, when I think of Wolvie, I mean, it's like adamantium, baby. Cigars, claw.
I think of a 5'2" disgruntled postal worker.
Well, exactly. And that's probably what he was. Started out as.
Hey, Canada needed some postal workers, man. So
they did.
Way off in the far reaches of Alpha Flight land or whatever.
But I mean, like, and the thing is, like, how far can, from a comic book standpoint, because you guys have seen way more than I have, but it's just like, how far can these guys go? Because obviously comics are going to go to the level of whoever's imagination it was. And like, there's just, some of us like, we're like, okay, cool. Well, how would that really work? It's like, well, don't think about it that way. It's just like whatever comes next. And you've got to keep people engaged, but at the same time too, it's like, if you're going to redo something, but then only tweak it like a little bit, and you're kind of like, well, this reads the same as something else, and you can already pretty much predict what's going to happen. To me, that's not anything new. That's just
boring. It's not creative. I mean, like back in the day, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, all these guys, dude, they was coming up with these original thoughts, and that's why everything has stuck. Decades. Spider-Man, still the man. Captain America. I mean, all these people. Like,
but that's the same thing with like. Well, that's like the same thing with music. Like, I'm a metalhead. Like, I grew up on Anthrax, Metallica, Def Leppard, and then you get into today's stuff and you can see all that influence. But then it's just like, I hear the same type of riffs, I hear the same type of beats, and I hear lyrics that have been used over and over again. It's just because like we're running out of ideas. And the fact now, I feel like in the last 10 years for movies, we've literally had revamp after revamp after revamp, like whether it's a prequel, whether it's a continuation, whether it's like RoboCop got its own redo, and I was like, it didn't need an updated version. It was just fine. I think they just needed to like make it digital, so like the colors popped a little bit better. I think they could have done some things with cinematography, obviously, but I don't think you need to make a new movie. So it's just like there's things like this where they're just like, oh, well, it's just easier to repeat. It's like, yeah. But at the same time, too, it's like somebody wants a new storyline, but then, you're going to butthurt the people who like the original storyline. You shouldn't veer from something different. It's like, so how do you please everybody? And I'm just like, I just want to watch something like, I know people are like bitching about Black Adam, being like, it's not source material. It's like, I'm not going into Black Adam thinking about plot. I just want to see people fight and die. Like, it doesn't have to be that complicated.
Yeah, which I do want to see that movie.
Well, and it's like horror, for example. Horror redoes itself every 5 to 10 years, typically. Like, if you watch any kind of movie, like we had Nightmare on Elm Street, and then they redid it, and it was horrible, with Jackie Earle. And Jackie tried. Like, he is a very talented actor. But when you give him a crap script and you don't give him the right things, you're not going to be able to make an effective movie. Horror has been really the bad part about that. Like, if you guys watched the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre this year that was on Netflix, it was a direct continuation of the original movie. Everything else that came out in the last 20, 30 years didn't matter. They blew it away. Said, nope, not canon, not whatever, don't care. And some of those were funny, like Matthew McConaughey jumping off of a freaking house and hitting a car going, hey, you guys. It was funny, some of this stuff, but we're seeing a lot of that now. We're like direct continuations of like Halloween. We've got the trilogy that just came out. Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends, which don't get me started on the third one.
I haven't heard anything good about that. I think they just do Jeepers Creepers again, and that flopped.
They did. Yeah, they did another one with that. Well, and I can understand why that flopped because of what's tied to it, because of the director, the previous director. So the previous director was into a lot of very bad things that involve kids. We'll just say that. So when they found that out, he of course got prosecuted and everything. But then now you've got a stigma around a movie. So that's also part of it. Like, how do you separate the movie from the person who directed it? I mean, it's still a good movie. Don't get me wrong. The first one and the second one were good. Third one sucked, and the new one sucked. But that's based upon what happened. But you still have that stigma of that director, like any movie that Harvey Weinstein did. For example, he is tied to hundreds and hundreds of movies that we've all watched.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even tell you which ones he did and did not do. Because there's been so many. But there's a stigma now between them and everybody that's tied around those movies. So, do you go back and watch that movie anymore because of what you know now? Or do you separate it as being, all right, this is the movie. He had jack crap to do with it other than he was the one giving money to make it, So, you got to kind of like separate things like that. And that's what I've tried to like reteach myself to do is separate the people from the movie or the people from the comic book. It's like, for example, Iceman, his character that we grew up with is not the same character that's today. So I don't expect to ever read it today and him be the same Iceman ever again. When North Star first came out, in comics, in X-Men. So North Star, he originally came out and he was gay, and he actually had a marriage in X-Men.
Right.
He came out as that, and that's exactly what his character was. You knew that when his character came, was in the comic.
That's what I was talking about earlier. I was like,
Was North Star the one from? Was he part of the Canadian
Yeah.
I was trying to remember like. There's so many like I play a Marvel Strike Force and I look at these things. I'm like, okay, wait, hold on. I was like, that's the weird one where it's the dude's clone son, but that's his dad, and I'm sitting there being like, okay, I don't get this.
That's literally what I'm saying. That's a great example of.
I was sitting there like, oh,
no problem.
Okay, sorry, back to you, North Star. Sorry.
Yep, and North Star and his sister Aurora. Like you saw how they were together. His brother and sister, but you always knew that. He was different. He was different than everybody else in there. And then when he came out, you understood why, because that's how he was. It's his character model. Doesn't make any difference. But then when you start changing all these characters, whether it be comics, movies, whatever, you've got to learn how to separate the character of who we had to what they have today, and it's completely different. It's like I respect the community 100%. I've got a lot of friends that are. But the difference is that, they're going to keep going in comics like this. Are they doing it just to sell because of the people that they're trying to sell to and alienate all the old people? Or are they going to make it even for both sides? Like, make it even. That's what I would do. It's like if I ruled Marvel and DC for a day, but like, okay, give me 10 new kids and 10 old people. And then come up with the best model in between, And I guarantee there'd be a lot of fighting in between those 20 people, of like what should be the right one. But I can also guarantee it too, there would be some great stories come out of that, because it would be new.
Refreshing.
And that's why I read independent now, because I get tired of the monotony of mainstream comics.
Speaking of independent, did you read any of the Rippaverse, or what's your thoughts on all that?
Which one?
The Rippaverse. So, oh my God, Rippa's that black guy on YouTube. He's a big YouTuber now, but he I mean, his channel blew up, dude. But he created his own. Dude, I need to send you a link. He got basically everything you just said. He got tired of it, but he had he put like 150,000 of his own dollars. Create his own comic universe, and then some other people started funding it, backing it, and man, it got up to like $4 or $5 million funding. And straight up, dude, he then launched his own independent. I mean, all 100% original characters, everything. Man.
There's there's a new. I don't know if that's the one.
Like this just happened, like this.
Oh, like just because there's one that's been like kind of like in the works. It's a black comic book artist who's really popular. He's been on the rise for like I don't know, like the last like 6 months, and he just had a comic line hit. Like started as like a web comic thing, kind of like a Black Pharaoh type deal that looks really, really good. Story time is kind of like what people like, that original grit. I gotta look back into it.
This is a different guy. This is a different guy you're talking about, because the guy I'm talking about, actually, he's not an artist. He just straight up, he's writing it. He writes everything, but somebody else. He's got, actually, I can't remember their names, but two pretty doggone good artists from DC, believe it or not, like DC Comics. Somehow he got them on board and actually drew the comic for him. Yeah, I'll send you that later on. But
yeah, I definitely want to read it. Because like, it's like for me, I'm open to read anything independently because I like new stories, I like new ideas, you know, and kind of like the push, you know, and especially ones that really push the envelope, you know, not just like, you know, I read Lady Death and all that kind of stuff, and I read Vampirella and I read those things, but I also like reading things that like kind of make you say, huh? Like, where is this going to go? You know, like I had an interview with Dustin Burnell from Ethereal Comics, and they push that scope. You know, it's a world based upon animals, not humans. You know, and like things like that. So it's kind of like, what would you think of it in that situation? You know, and it's like, oh, okay. You know, just
now, are these humanoid animals or just animals?
Humanoids? Yeah.
Okay.
Think Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
Right. Okay.
Wait, Cadillacs and dinosaurs? You're talking about the car?
Oh yeah, you remember the old one? You had the big dinosaurs and everything. You know.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm not old. People.
Whatever
I'm
works.
not old.
Hey, speaking of, you actually brought it up, but we never even talked about it. You said it, but we didn't. I don't know what we got on a rabbit trail, which ain't nothing new. But
Sorry, that's probably my fault.
I'm gonna blame you, man.
Yeah, it's fine. That's fine.
But,
I'll take it.
The Robbie Reyes epic fail HasLab. That's what you want to talk about.
That's what we started out with, was that ultimate failure. It's sad too, because that had the potential to be a great thing if it wasn't for the cost.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and the craziest part of all that, first of all, and we all saw, not just us, but I'm talking about everybody, thankfully saw that these jokers, you talking about pandering buddies, like, first of all, they went for the X-Men fans.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, what's that got to do with freaking Ghost Rider? But I've been ride and die X-Men my whole life. X-Men. That's, if I was going to choose any genre of anything, X-Men, without even breathing, without even thinking, like straight up. And then they try to pander to that with the what's her name, Madeline Pryor.
Yeah, try to give us Goblin Queen.
Yeah, I'm like, man, y'all, we all saw through all of that stuff, man.
Yeah, like
price though.
$350 for a car that lights up and an action figure. Okay, I'm sorry. No, you can give me that.
I'll see that thing.
Yeah, like how much was that, James?
It was $299 or right at $300, same price basically. I mean,
but you look at what you get with that. How many of the
Galactus, one hand, dude, one hand is more. Well, not obviously articulated, but has more in it than that whole car.
Yeah.
Like, engineering, that's the word I was looking for.
Same way with the Sentinel. You know, the hand and the articulation it has. You know, it's kind of funny. It's like, I don't understand where they can go with these kind of pricing, because if you're going to
look how huge that sucker is.
Like he's what 12, 15
Those
inches.
Y'all watching, Hot Toys are beside him on the wall. So okay.
Yeah, so 12 inches, so he's 18 to 20 at least.
Huge. He's 24. No, he's 24.
He's 24. So he's the same size as a Titan is. Yeah.
Huge.
That's what I'm talking about. For what you get, that makes sense. The amount of plastic, the amount of accessories.
I haven't done this. I'm gonna do it live with Nate. Go ahead, Nate. I'm sorry. Keep talking about it.
But I'm gonna say, like, with the heralds you got, the figures you got, you know, everything that you get, you know, with Galactus, that makes sense to me. You know,
he towers over this robot right here.
Yeah, well, he's a little shorty too.
That's true.
But still, I mean, you think about what you're getting with that, it makes sense. But a car that lights up and a Ghost Rider figure, even with Mephisto, and Damon Helmstrom and that, you're still talking maybe 150, $200. Maybe,
Bro.
a let.
Yeah, maybe.
I could see that, because like T-Man brought this up, a couple weeks ago, and it makes sense too. These are made to order, so they're custom made. They are being made in a factory by people, custom made just for us. It's not a mass retail thing, so I get that. So that's about a good 10%, 15%. You add your taxes and shipping. Okay, so out the door, $200 shipped. Okay,
Right.
I could see that with everything.
That would have been backed.
With
Straight up.
with the Robbie Reyes figure, as well as the Ghost Rider, Damon Helmstorm, Malin Pryor, Mephisto, the car, and the effects. Okay, I can see that because you think about it, like we had the Ghost Rider ride, with Johnny Blaze a couple years ago, $45, $50 just for that. Okay, $50 for that. Makes sense. It doesn't have lights and sounds, doesn't have anything. It's just a bike with Ghost Rider, So if you up it up, it's a car that actually does stuff. Okay, you're talking $100 at least. Figures, $20, $25 now each. So okay, you're at four figures, so that's $200. Okay, I could see that. I could see that with everything out the door, but not $350. And by the way, if you don't, get to this certain amount of number at this point, you don't get the regular. You don't get the human version of Reyes. That was a slap in the face already. Two, you don't hit this one. You don't hit all these extra tiers. You don't get these extra figures. So that's what everybody forgot. Even if they would have made it, you still didn't get those extra figures.
So how pissed would you have been if all of a sudden, oh, it made it, oh yay, but it only made that first tier, that 5,000. Oh, exactly. Guess what, Jack? You ain't getting none of them other figures.
Exactly. And that's
then you just looking like a clown for real, spending. To me, I put it in just to kicks and giggles of seeing with tax and shipping here to Georgia.
$400.
It was right at 400. It was $398 and some change, bro. $400
for a Ghost Rider car.
And that was base level if it didn't make no tier, just that first tier. Nah.
Yep.
Nah.
And that's what gets me too, is I want to show this tonight. Let's see. Present. Share the screen. We're going to show a tab. And we'll show. That's one. Okay. So let's talk about this guy. So you got, this is Deathsaurus. This just launched last Friday. And look at that number we're at already today. In 1 week, we have 5,789 backers. This is just US backers. This figure's already been selling over in Korea, Malaysia, China, Japan, through their different other ways. So all their numbers are going to be dropped into here too, sooner or later. So you think about that, 6,000. So already halfway in a week. So
dude.
Are we going to make this? Yes, we will. You know why we're going to make 11,000?
Absolutely.
And the main reason why, everybody bought Victory Saber last year, and it was 11,000 in. It's the same price, literally the same price, $179.99. Okay, and the difference being on this one compared to the Robbie Reyes, they tell you your tiers. Okay, if you get to tier 1 at 14,000, you get this. Okay, you get the effects, you get the gun, you get the mace. If you get to 17,000, okay, you're going to get a throne, and you're going to get a stand and everything else. Okay. Now, what happened last year is they blew past this too. We got to over 20,000. So they actually brought in a third tier last year. And I'm going to show it. And here we go. Here's Victory Saber. See, 26,211 backers. So don't ever doubt Transformers. The Transformers community is strong. But we got, see, same thing. Tier 1 at 14, Tier 2 at 17. But then at tier 3, they had to open up a new one at 20,000, and they gave you extra MicroMasters in this. Okay, so let's talk about this for a minute. Okay, this is $180, bare bones, just starting out. Okay, so that means, and he's a commander class. So you think about that commander class. All commanders today are $80 to $100 to start out with. You know, if you wanted Rodimus Prime, you wanted Skylinks, Jetfire, 80 to 100 easily. And then the aftermarket,
Right.
good lord. So luckily, we're getting, reissues of Skylinks and of Jetfire for people that can get that. So, okay, that's $100. Okay. Now, this is also a combiner. So you look at this Supreme class figure, and he's actually got a combiner with him, a secondary figure, being Victory Leo. Let me show you that one. And just look at the engineering. This is engineering versus a car.
Yeah, it don't make no sense, man.
And that's what drives me nuts. Okay,
it goes back to that disconnect. It's like, dude, I don't know who they're listening to. They're listening to the wrong folks.
They are. They definitely are. Okay. So so here's Victory Leo. And he's about a Voyager size. Okay, Voyagers are $30 to $40 each. Okay, so let me think about this. Just say $90 for Supreme class. Another 40. Okay, that's 130 out the door. Normal pricing. Okay, these are extras, so you're going to get the extra commission. I could see 180. I could see 180 shipped for something like this. And then you add on everything else that you get with it. Now granted, some of this is just a gimme, like the flight stand. Okay, that's one thing. But like his blaster gun, yeah, you got to have that one, and his shield. Of course, the shield
Right.
and that, that's a standard things you should have anyways. But what the difference is that they're open and communicating with the fans. They know what the fans want. On the Transformer side, I don't think they do on the Marvel Legends side at all. I don't think they have a clue.
Yeah, I don't know. And the crazy thing, I don't understand why though. Why is there such a disconnect? Like obviously with the Transformers, out there with the fans are pumping out for the most part anyway, or at least the HasLabs. Obviously they ain't got no problem going through the roof because there hasn't been a Transformer HasLab that has not been backed, obviously. But the Darren Marvel Legends team, buddy, I don't know, man. They listening to the wrong people. That's all I'm saying.
They pay licensing for. We talked about this like a couple of times ago. They're making Black Series and they're making Marvel Legends. They don't make a lot of profit off of that. That's another reason why they cut the corners when it comes to accessories. They're not going to make any money off of that. They're going to make their money off of Transformers because they own the exclusive rights. I mean, it's just a shame.
But what we've seen recently in Marvel Legends is that they're going the deluxe route for a lot of things now. So, for example, I got the Null and Venom 2-pack, which are literally 2 Build-A-Figures in a box for $80. And it had wings, it had extra hands, had extra heads and everything. Those deluxe classes, that's where you're getting your accessories at now. Spider-Man, like the Spidey James is holding. Spidey, you get 80 hands, it feels like, some webs and stuff. But you're paying $30 to $35 per figure.
Finally getting some webs. Finally, after all these years, it's like, oh, duh, let's put webs with Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. and it is only on the Amazing Fantasy version, though. That's the only one that has. But what's sad is that they could be doing that.
Stage figure arts, by the way. So Japanese Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, the Mayfex one.
No, it's SH figure arts.
Oh, the figure arts.
SH figure arts. But I mean, it's like, where do you? It's like the disconnect when you jump up to getting the collectors who want to pay for things like Super 7 when you see the type of articulation you get with them, the amount of paint that you get with them. Like, just because I've had most of my experience with like the TMNT line, those things come packed with accessories. Like, I don't understand
Dude,
why they
they
don't.
got
I
a
mean,
lot. I've never owned one.
I mean,
I've seen, you know.
I've sold a lot of them working with our buddy Tim at conventions and stuff, and it's funny because like it hits a real nostalgia kick for a lot of people because they're very toy accurate, while NECA is more toon. But like, damn, dude, they come with extra heads. They come with like crazy accessories. I think some of them will come with like replacement hands. The fact that the packaging is so good just to display, but like they're $60 for one figure, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, you're going to get to the point that if Hasbro keeps increasing prices, what's going to stop them from jumping ship and just going to one of these other third-party style creators that's going to just do a better job if they're going to narrow that gap?
Yeah. And like those Ultimates you're talking about, man, them Jokers come with the original non-painted, like brown OG way back. Ninja Turtle weapons, and then the color ones,
Yeah, and you had the ones that you had to snap them off and like clean them up a little bit because they had little all the things kids shouldn't have had back then, things to swallow. But it's just like, you know, it's with Transformers. Like what I got when I argued with one guy, it's like the pictures were showing that Death Source was only coming with one Breastmaster, but he's supposed to be coming with two. And I'm like, wait, so you're gonna have to get to 12,000 people to get blast effects? I was like, that's just dumb. They should be getting blast effects. They probably have like this massive crate full of blast effects from all of these figures.
You know
they're so cheap. You pay $200. Okay, did you even get one with your Metroplex? Your big War for Cyber or whatever Cybertron Metroplex? Did he even come with a blast effect?
No.
$170 for Scorponok and Black Zarek, one blast effect. One.
Yeah.
That's
the only one that came with a bunch was Jetfire.
Jetfire came with a bunch, dude.
He came with like 7 or 8.
Which made sense. Omega Supreme should have come with a bunch. Because well, they're reissuing, so if people don't know,
of course,
Transformer nerds. Go for it.
Yeah, Jetfire.
Oh, sorry, I was just saying, Jetfire is awesome. Anyway.
Yeah, but for those who didn't want to pay the aftermarket prices, Jetfire and War for Cybertron, Jetfire and Skylynx, they're both getting reissued. I think next year.
Yep.
And those are actually good figures.
Yeah, don't overpay.
Unboxing art. Yeah, he said don't. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's right. I mean, this is a good example. Legends are dying. Yes, they are. And you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to recultivate on old people who keep buying them. And what's happened is James and I used to be the buy every legend crowd. You know, buy every legend that came out, buy every wave, buy everything, build everything, have everything. But guess what? After a while, you kind of get smart and you're like, okay, I don't really need 8,000 Valkyries. I don't need, 30 Spider-Man. I need a couple, the onesie twosies, I haven't bought an actual wave in 2 years, a full wave in 2 years.
Oh, that makes me feel better because I haven't either. That makes me feel awesome.
I'm
not the only one.
The last full wave I bought was the Age of Apocalypse. That was it.
Yeah, but I'll ask you this though. You may not have bought a wave, but how much did you pay for that Science Stew that you were bragging about last time?
That was
got
pretty.
From Japan.
Once y'all told me that, I was like,
you just changed. You just shifted. You shifted
your phones.
I didn't say the money wasn't spent. I just said the amount of figures.
But guess what? You have more room now in your area.
You're right. That's thank God.
I mean, it's the same way in my office. Like, I still have plenty of room to expand. Like, I've got one shelf just for G.I. Joe, one shelf for Legends and Multiverse, and I've got 3 other shelves that are just empty. You know. And
but you will be filling them.
No.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I'll be filling them with your Mastermade ones someday.
Yeah, well, I get it. I know they're in a box, and I know they're in my storage unit. But hopefully, I mean, we're projecting the house to be done basically in like 4 weeks. So when that's the case, first thing I'm doing is they're getting into a box and they're being shipped to you. Because I got your Frankenstein. Okay.
Oh yeah.
What else
Yeah.
did I get for you? Oh yeah, Creep Show. That's what I've got as well. I found him the NECA Creep Show, the new one that just came out, not that crap one that was on the flimsy box that they had forever.
Yeah, I've got that one. That one is based.
That's old.
Yeah, the one you got me is based upon the old movie from the '82. The other one is based upon the new Shutter series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I need just like a Pennywise. I need a Tim Curry Pennywise someday.
Did NECA make?
They made
they made a lot. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they made a ton of those, but
they've got like 4 of the new Pennywises. There's like that. They feel like there's a lot of them because I keep seeing like different boxes, and there's small ones, but then there's like a new one that came out that's like a little bit bigger.
It's
got more of like a diorama style. Yeah, that's one I've seen recently.
Yeah,
that's the new Pennywise.
I usually collect like a lot of those in Mezco. That's one of the few Mezco things I actually buy is horror figures. You know, because you can't really screw them up too bad. Like I've got the Jason, I've got the Freddy. Someday I'll have a Leatherface. You know, it's been on order for 2 years. Same way with the Alien and the Crow. You know, but yeah, I'm getting to the point where I'm probably gonna just buy the NECA Leatherface and buy the NECA Pennywise. You know, Tim Curry version because.
Unboxing Art brought up a good example talking about these new companies, and he's right. I mean, it owned the Mythic Legion figure ever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen him. Big Dub, if y'all know him, I'm at his house all the time, and he's got a massive dumb collection of just about everything, but especially Mythic Legion.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought the exclusive Headless Horseman right before Halloween, which was amazing timing, obviously. And that dude, that's my first one. That thing's on a whole nother level, dude. That thing's on a whole nother level compared to like Marvel Legends and all that. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, and Art's right. Quality, quantity. I mean, that's the big thing. You know, a lot of us have changed our way of collecting. We collect what we really want to collect now, and so we have specific figures like the Mayfax Azrael that just came out. That's an amazing figure, but he can't stand with the shit. He falls every day, like literally.
And unfortunately, people won't admit that crap, and that's what sucks about a lot of YouTube reviewers not throwing shade. But dude, just say that.
Yeah.
Say that. Let's say, hey, I spent $110 on this piece of garbage. It looks amazing, but it will not stand.
It won't stand.
Just say that. Right?
Oh, this is a Batman figure?
Yeah.
The Azrael Batman?
It looks amazing. It looks amazing.
I was to say, I'm looking at the picture. I'm like,
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's awesome.
I mean, it's a great figure, and it looks amazing, but like, dude, it can't stand at all.
Yeah, it's probably the best as far as aesthetics. Probably the best, Azrael Batman there is. I mean,
so is this like one of the ones? Like, I don't know how like scale wise for this one, but would this be one that would suffice from getting just like one of those flight stands that would clip around his waist just to kind of like keep him?
Yeah.
Like that's
kind of that. If you did that,
I think you have no choice, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer though, because if he doesn't come with it, and that's the case, that's kind of like a pretty big shortcomings on their side.
Yeah. Well, Mayfix is hit and miss sometimes on things, and they're also smaller scale too. So Mayfix really scales better with Figwarts than it does Multiverse. Because Multiverse is 7-inch figures.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
that don't scale. That's a whole nother Barlin 7-inch scale. That's a whole nother thing.
But you know what? They work perfectly with the old Multiverse ones and the old DC collectibles.
Right.
You know, because
I got a question for you two then. And this was the guy that just had the comment like 2 ago where he said like Marvel Legends is dying. If I get this right, if I remember from our conversation, because I always learn a lot from you too. If Hasbro went back to the way of, was it Toy Wiz?
Toy Biz.
You guys had nothing but glowing remarks for them. If they went back to whatever that was, do you think things would change for the Marvel Legends universe?
Oh yeah.
of collectors.
Yeah, if they current articulation that Hasbro has created, which is amazing, articulation, but they went back to the and sculpt that Toy Biz used to do. Oh my god!
The paint?
Now,
Oh my god.
yeah, now that would be it'd be untouchable. I mean, it'd be
So then
almost
that could
like
be a
NECA.
good saving
It'd be
grace.
like a NECA figure, yeah.
And it
It'd
won't
be like
happen.
NECA, but better quality. As far, you know how some NECA's a little brittle, but as far as sculpt and paint, it would be right there. As far as
Yeah, let's not talk about NECA. I sent Simmons a Baxter Stockman, and as soon as he opened the box, a wing just fell off, and I was
Yeah,
like,
it was broken in the box. Not his fault, but
I,
right.
But this was at the peak of when NECA was like, as soon as one hit the shelf, it was scalped, and I was
gone.
going everywhere to find these things. It
Yeah.
drove me nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing that a lot of people don't realize, Hasbro is never going to get to that point again because the Toy Biz engineers work for McFarlane now. So
there you go.
So if you just think about it, look at your McFarlane figures, look at the toe tilt, look at the hands, look at the things that they do. That's Toy Biz engineering again in multiverse. So that's why a lot of the multiverse, I mean, most of my figures stand no problem. I have no problem.
They come with flights. They come with little stands, though, don't they?
Yep,
They do come with those.
Every one of them come with a stand unless it's a mega fig.
A
mega
foot
figs,
peg stand. Yeah.
You know, but it's like,
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But what you get for 20 to 20, I mean, and they're cheaper than Legends.
Yeah.
That's what gets me. Is like they're $23, maybe and $20 for some of them. You know, it's like the mega figures are only 30 to 35. Like I got a Bane that's this tall, you know, and he's a monstrosity of a figure. He doesn't do nothing, but if you want to create that scene of him breaking Batman, I can do that. You know.
I mean, look at the sculpt and paint of this behemoth of a freaking figure right here.
Exactly.
Oh, that's from Spawn, yeah, right?
Yeah, it's Violator.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, sadly, a regular old Marvel Legend is almost the cost of this thing right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little exaggerated, but it ain't that far off. You almost $30 on a regular Marvel Legend. Depending on Spider-Man, it might be $35.
Yeah, I thought their Clayface looked pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like size-wise, you can
Clayface
tell the articulation isn't there, but he looked pretty intimidating.
And for bigger figures like that, you're not really looking for articulation. You're looking for a behemoth just to tower over something, typically.
True.
You know, so I'm okay with it. And like Art, here's a really good comment from Art. So many collectors shit on Diamond Select. Yeah, they do. But guess what? I'm with you, Art. There's a lot of Diamond Select figures that are still freaking awesome. Now, the hips, that's the one thing that will never change, I don't think, on the Diamond Select. But there are some, you know, like this Apocalypse that's coming out from Diamond Select. We all ordered that damn figure because that Apocalypse looks amazing.
Boy, that Apocalypse, woo.
I cannot wait to get that. The Swamp Thing too. Yeah, their Swamp Thing.
Yeah, I got their Swamp Thing too.
You know,
so the only thing I'm familiar with,
multiverse.
Well, for like Diamond Selects, the only thing that I'm used to with Tim was their statues for Diamond Selects.
Right.
Like they got a couple of ranges on that one. I didn't know they actually made action figures.
They do. Yeah, they make different series like Diamond. You know, you have Diamond Select. Then they do Marvel, DC, all these off-ball ones too, like Clerks. Like I got the whole Clerks series at one point, you know, with Jay and Silent Bob. You know, they did that one. They did.
Yeah, they do the Muppets, man. They do
Kingdom. You know, they do so many different lines. What gets them is that they're not 112. They're like 7-inch scale, which is perfect if you want to put them with multiverse because if you get the Deadpools, you get the Wolverines, and you put them with that 7-inch scale of multiverse, they work perfectly. But you know, some of the things that Diamond Select is doing is what Toy Biz used to do a long time ago with the dioramas, the pictures, you know, and things like the Logan. I've got the Logan one with the bone claws from Diamond Select, and that one's a hard figure to find. You'll never find it again. You find it once, you better buy it because you're never going to see it again.
Right.
You know, but the sculpt on that with the wolves, with that, I mean, it looks amazing. I'm never opening it. Period. I'm never going to open that figure, because it's got a clear through bubble. It's got something you can see. There's no reason to open it. But it's one of those things. It's like they do make good figures. Now they make some shitty figures too.
They make some rough ones, boy.
That whole Castlevania land was bad. I had the whole line of Castlevania.
That Moon Knight. Oh
yeah. The Psylocke. Oh yeah, you can't forget Psylocke, man.
So don't get me wrong now. I mean, they can go amazing, and then they go, boy, straight to the trash can.
and that's any line can do that.
Yeah.
Any line can do good. They can do horrible.
Look, here's a perfect example. So they've been preaching pinless, and then I get a brand new Century Walgreens exclusive, and this joker got pins all over it. I'm like, wait a minute, like what? Now, back in the day, nobody gave a crap because it was limitedly there. It was just there. It's now that I've got pinless figures, I'm looking at this thing like, man, that thing's ugly.
Yeah.
I think wasn't Hasbro just under scrutiny where they had like several Marvel Legends and their prototype, not even, I don't know if it was their prototype pictures. It was literally like what they claimed were like their figures being like done, and they weren't the same as production. Like, there was a huge, that was and it was a huge difference. I was like, whoa, man, like you can't be doing that to collectors nowadays. We're looking at your stuff in 4K and 8K now, man. We can see.
Yeah, exactly.
We're zooming in.
The comic version.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
it's the shell-shaped Mystique, because that's why it was supposed to have been out a month ago, almost 2 months ago. It was supposed to come out, and I just now got a notice for payment on it today, and so that tells you like
you better not do some entertainment Earth.
Hell no.
Oh, you know what's worse? Actually, what Scooter was talking about. What's even worse on that particular Mystique? The promo images were double jointed elbows. And the actual release was single jointed elbow. That's even worse.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. But that's what I was saying. Like,
yeah, you can't do that to us. Especially like when we've been wanting a double jointed X-Men figure for years. We still don't got one. James, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we have a double jointed X-Men girl yet.
The only one we got was years ago with Spiral. She actually had double joints, believe it or not.
Yeah, but she don't count. That's way back.
But she don't count. Yeah, that was way. But no modern X-Men female. No. They're all single joint.
So, but
you basically Rogue, which I just dropped my Wolverine, but anyway, and it's just single jointed.
It's okay. He'll grow back.
It is what it is. Yeah, he'll grow back. Yeah, he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
And that's what's sad. It's like we should be at this stage where it's like, you can do pinless joints, you can do all this paint, you can do all those accessories, but you're still giving me a single jointed female figure.
If he's broke or just or what? That's how he landed anyway. He just kind of decrepit.
Yeah. He's hating life for some reason.
He looks so sad.
He just knew his cigars just went up in price.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, like, but we know that because, I mean, like, prime example for us in Transformers in third parties, fans toys, it's like every other release goes from having a double jointed elbow to a single jointed elbow, or one company will come out with one figure that's like mass paint, and then the next figure they come out with is colored plastic that's got like a metallic sheen to it, but it's not paint. We get that all the time because you sit there and be like, yeah, he's gonna. Last one had double jointed elbows. He'll be able to touch his nose, and then you get the typewriter fingers where you're like, "What?" So you go to point, and it's, no. We get that stuff all the time in the Transformer world, where someone gets a crazy like ankle articulation, so you can put in like a really cool pose, and then the one figure who really needs it can just A-frame, and that's it. You're like,
yeah. Well, it's like the Optus Texas that came out, from MMC. That's one of the best figures ever made, period. Period joint.
Just another version of it.
That thing can do anything, But do I really need that for Optimus Prime? Do I need him to touch his toes? No, he should be blowing shit up with his gun. He should be killing Megatron, killing stuff with his gun. Do I need him to do that? No. But I tell you who needs to do those kind of things? Aerial bots. Aerial bots should be moving their asses around and getting out of situations, things like
Spider-Man or something.
Exactly, It's like, come on. But,
I tell you what, man. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, like, when you're talking about like articulation, I think it's Mayfix. I think the one that's gonna, like, I'm hoping, just because when you're talking about, like, you said Spider-Man, you're talking about like being able to get out of the way. I want to say it's Mayfix is doing that Miles Morales, and I looked at some of those pictures and I was like, holy crap! Because like the whole swinging thing where like his legs are like up here and he's like pulling through. Like, that is gonna that thing looked like it's gonna be really, really good. But like, I'm just hoping.
Don't buy the Sentinel one.
Yeah, I will give Mayfix props on their spider characters, but I just got the symbiote black suit Mayfix, which are pretty much all the same body and all that.
Yeah.
And they're awesome. Their Spider-Man, I mean, they're killing it, like, with their Spider-Man.
And their X-Men are good. I mean, I've not seen a bad X-Men yet, other than like Cyclops is a little wobbly.
He's questionable, dog. He's questionable.
Yeah, but okay, so I can tie that back into our first conversation when I jumped in about like Marvel Legends. That's been one thing in the comics that's been consistent, is that I feel like he's the one, like, he's like Transformers version of Ultra Magnus. He gets the short end of the stick in every continuity. Like, everything Cyclops. I've ever heard or seen is the one who always gets shat on the most. Same way with Ultra Magnus. Like, when War for Cybertron came out on Netflix, like, I had such high hopes that Ultra Magnus was going to be that war commander warrior type deal he was. Just like Megatron's holding his head. I was like, why? He's like, he had such potential. Yeah, that's how I think of Cyclops.
Yeah, see, Cyclops is that guy, like, he had the potential to be a great person, but then he became a dickhead instead. So he became the guy that everybody hates, he's whiny, and that's the one thing you don't want to be as a leader, is be whiny. And that's why Wolverine just says, no, you're an idiot. I'll kill you. Move.
I like the classic Wolverine Cyclops stuff is every time they were in costume or in their civilian clothes or whatever, and Wolverine just walk up and just gut punch him right in the ribs without his claws. Obviously, they just Cyclops punched over. That always gave me a kick out of that. I don't know why. It's just, maybe because I'm a Wolverine guy. I don't know.
Well, and think about that though. Literally, he's got a whole arm full of adamantium. He just hits you in the stomach with that.
You're gonna be hurting.
Yeah, but if you think about it too, though, Cyclops could be shooting him from how far away? At the same time too, like, I would, like, he could be sitting there on his bike. I'd be sitting there in the bushes, wait for him to go past and just like knock him off the bike. Be like, oh, it'll grow back. You'll be fine. You can go fix your bike again.
Because if you think about it, like Cyclops, for example, they gave him the powers of the Phoenix, as part of the Phoenix 5. Yeah.
God.
And you just think about it, like, his eyes become so bad, he can like destroy an Earth with it, he can just cut an Earth in half with this.
Dude, the Phoenix Force sounds like an STD. Everybody's going to get it.
Well, that's kind of what happened in Marvel. Everybody got
the words out of my mouth. Everybody. Like,
it's just like, come on, man.
And there again, it goes to show you when it's like, bro, y'all had ideas. It's like, I love the Phoenix.
Yeah. That's
what she was, or it was, or whatever, this force. And now everybody and their mama's, everybody's been the Phoenix. Well, whippity do.
Yeah.
So I had to ask you guys another question, because this is always gonna be for like my entertainment purposes as well. So for Marvel, who is the most recent badass new villain? And then same thing for DC, because obviously we're getting stuff where like everybody knows Thanos, everybody knows, like, I think Krull's on the rise. Like, a lot more people are starting to know about him. But like, who would you say is like the newest villains that are really like piquing your interest in like that type of continuity? Or have you guys both stopped reading both of those? I know you said you're not really interested.
I stopped reading it, but I still read like the excerpts about things. And one is the Celestials came back out, and the Celestials decided the whole Earth should die and kill everybody. And then the X-Men had this, and the X-Men actually stopped him, not by fighting, but by talking.
Okay, that's some powerful conversation.
Yeah,
right.
And one of them,
conversation.
and one of the people actually was Jean Grey, and she said, "I'll take the Phoenix Force back from everybody and start resurrecting humans." Because in X-Men, they have the ability to resurrect mutants now.
Yeah, I did know that storyline.
Yeah, so now they're going to start resurrecting humans. So the Celestials like, okay, if you're going to do something good for humanity, then maybe we won't kill everybody.
And so what they would do is, what was the name of the Krakoa? But what was the
Krakoa.
name? Yeah.
Oh, that was
the
the island was Krakoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm excited if they can do it right. I'm excited. I mean, because I don't think Venom 2 is that good from the sounds of it, but like if they could bring in that whole Krull concept and they could take Venom to anti-Venom to cosmic, like that whole whatever it wasn't cosmic. He got some like power from some guy that was like it bounces from like person to person to where like you're
Captain
super
Universe.
righteous. Yeah, like that to me, like learning about that to me could be a very good 6, 7, 8 movie series if you can continue to develop it. But,
well,
I mean that's
Sony will screw
cosmic.
that up.
Oh yeah, of course.
And that's the thing too, is like with the Spider-Man side not being really part of Marvel, like that piece, they can do whatever they want to do. Like, they can make, Toxin, they can make, all of the symbiote army, and then just have
Toxic,
Null.
Scream.
Yeah. Bring all those in, bring all those characters in, and let them do it. But like the new one they've been talking about, it's been Craven, bringing Craven's Hunt to the big screen.
Right.
Oh, they're changing him as being like an animal lover, not a hunter.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
It's what killed it for me. I'm like, okay, you just made the best hunter in the whole world a pansy. And it's
so
like,
what if that's a ploy to basically make people like really annoyed, but then like, because there's when a trailer drops, people are still gonna be curious, and then they suddenly see him as being like, I'm here to kill and hunt Spider-Man. I want him on my wall. Could you imagine like the sudden uproar? Because they already know they screwed up on Morpheus.
Yeah, well, and they're gonna have to do something. Because I mean, and here's a problem, and I hate it too, is because Jared Leto can be a great actor. Like, if you watch Blade 2049, he was a badass actor in Blade 2049. But then you get him into these roles like the Joker and like Morpheus or Morbius. And it's like, okay, dude.
Morpheus, yeah.
It's morphin' time.
But it's just like, it drives me nuts. And it's like, is it him? Or is it the people behind him making him bad as a bad actor? And
it sounded like both, because like a lot of things came at him being like this type actor, A-type actor, where he wouldn't break rules and he would do stuff. It sounds like it's kind of both. I think there's no direction in the fact that they let him act like a prick.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like they let him do that in all these movies, and they did, in Blade Runner they wouldn't let that happen. They weren't going to let him ruin the movie, especially with Harrison Ford being part of it.
Right.
Harrison Ford's like, oh, hell no, get off the stage. But it's just sad to see like some movies like that. Like, you have a franchise, like Morbius could be part of the Midnight Suns. Like, that could be a multiverse tie-in. They could have had Ghost Rider. They could have had. Now they just ruined Morbius. So it's like, okay, now, and then Blade is in limbo again. So
yeah, they just lost their director, didn't they?
Yeah. So there's no Blade movie now. So it's like, okay, so we're getting further and further away from it, and then nobody's wants to be Ghost Rider, because everybody's afraid to be the new Nicolas Cage, and make Ghost Rider suck again. But this could be an avenue, like, hey, maybe.
Hey, don't talk about Nicolas Cage like that, man.
I like Nicolas Cage. He does better in horror movies though. Like, he's
like Pig,
Willy's Wonderland.
He's back up on the rise. He's one of the most sought after actors right now. He was like untouchable for the sake that he just sucked for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And now he's like back up on the rise. Like, everybody wants him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great horror actor. I mean, as weird as it is to say that, he is one of the best horror actors I've watched.
It is interesting.
And like, if you watch Willy's Wonderland, there's no dialogue. He doesn't say one word in the whole movie. And he doesn't have to, because of his actions that he does. And that's what makes it an interesting movie. But
Y'all know more about all that. I don't have a clue. But yeah.
All right, what's going on with DC then? Besides the
DC
fact that their movies just suck.
well, they're gonna kill Superman again.
Yay.
How?
I don't know, but that's the last I heard. They're killing Superman again. Again, literally, they just brought him.
Kryptonite.
They just brought him back to life too. And now they're really gonna kill him again. So
They're gonna do it for real this time.
yeah, well, they said that 30 years ago too, but 2 months
that was
later,
good.
Return
That
of
was a good
Superman showed
DC
up.
animated movie. Yeah, well, I mean, I like that Superman versus was it Doomsday or whatever. That was
Yeah.
a good animated movie. I like that a lot.
And see, that's what I don't get with DC is like their animated movies are amazing. I love watching their like the Long Halloween. I just watched that.
Dude, the
Not-
crazy thing, 90% of everybody would agree with that. It's like, how do y'all make such amazing animated movies, but your actual live action stuff sucks? Like,
But that's the difference between Marvel. Marvel's animated movies are kind of mediocre.
yeah, the reverse of
Yeah.
that,
But
right?
yeah, but their movie like their live action continuity is like
Right.
way better than DC. It's just kind of like a
Oh yeah. Well, it's like if you watch the recent one, like the She-Hulk, and then you watched Werewolf by Night. Like Werewolf by Night was freaking amazing. You know, like that was one of
See,
my favorite ones.
I didn't watch a single thing of She-Hulk, but yet Werewolf by Night, I absolutely loved it.
I
And
love.
then the only thing that pissed me off is it was only 45 minutes. I'm like, why? Why?
Yeah. It's like
I
I
want more of
wanted
that.
more. I was like I want.
but
okay,
the purpose of that was to bring more into the continuity. So
Yeah.
I think that's something where it's going to develop more because they need to bring in Man
they
Thing.
brought
Yeah,
Ant-Man in,
it was so
Howard the
good.
Duck.
I
Don't
didn't
spoil it. I haven't
I
seen it
forgot
yet. So
No, I'm not. I'm not. Well, besides, I don't think this was spoiled. But I mean, basically, it was so good. I forgot it was in black and white. I don't think that's spoiling it, but I mean,
Yeah.
it ain't in
Wasn't-
color. So, spoiler.
Because
alert.
doesn't Doctor Strange have like his own little group of people? He's got like some because obviously I know there's like the Dark Justice League. I watched that animated movie, which I thought was really cool. But then like Marvel's got theirs where I want to say it was like Man Thing, Doctor Strange, and like a couple other people.
Yeah,
But
it's called
I always get them
the
crossed over.
Defenders. It's the Secret Defenders. So
Like,
it was.
Scooter, you need to go, bro. Scooter, you need to go watch the doggone. You got to go watch this. I mean,
I know,
Yeah.
I know, I need to. I mean, I got an exam on Monday, an exam on Wednesday, and then I got two.
I'm a
but-
non-horror type guy, but that movie, that's a great. I mean, I enjoyed it.
It was an amazing like for me it goes back to the old days of like you know Barry Windsor Smith, Bernie Wrightson, Swamp Thing, those kind of horror stories that used to be in comics because they don't do that no more. When's the last time you seen
Nah,
a
heck no.
horror comic in Marvel or DC?
Nah,
The closest thing is Justice League Dark, which
Mhm.
that was years ago, and I loved it.
that was a long time.
When Dead Man was there, oh yeah, I was all about Dead Man and Santana killing
All your
everybody.
little high-dollar robots, but do you have this, sir? That's what I want to know. Do you have this guy right here, buddy?
You talking about the McDonald's guy? No, I'm
An
good.
adult Happy Meal. Yeah, you're on your own, man.
No,
I heard he's worth a lot of money though.
I guess, man. I don't even know.
I tell you, I haven't ate a McDonald's in almost a year, so who knows?
Hey, congratulations.
I usually just go when they get like their mint chocolate chip shake. That's usually about
Oh, the Shamrock. Yeah.
Shamrock shake. That's probably the only time I'll go and grab something.
It was dead on the money. I was like, I got 3 younger kids, so we're always.
Well, I don't mind the breakfast. The
But
breakfast
they were
is
like,
okay.
no, I agree with that now. The breakfast now. Like, no, don't sleep on
McGriddles?
McDonald's breakfast.
Yeah, I can do the McGriddles, no problem.
But I
everything
was
else-
like, hey, I'm gonna try one of these stupid adult Happy Meal. I didn't even know nothing about it, and I'm like, but I told my wife, I was like, I want a Grimace dog. I just want a Grimace. And God is my witness, dude. First thing I opened, Grimace. I was like, well, I'm done. That was it. That's all I'm doing.
So
I just didn't know he had 4 eyes. So I was like,
I know Simmons. No, he never did. I know Simmons can attest to this one.
Dang.
You mean
And
that
this
one?
one? Yep, that one. But this one is signed by Jason. Get Right Robot.
Ah, yeah.
Hey.
Jason's good people.
Jason, like, you want to talk about like a person who is super humble and everybody's trying to get a hold of him. Like, I don't know if you guys have like a customizer in Marvel or whatever you collect. It's like the most popular person.
I do.
But like, I've had so many conversations with this guy. I bumped into him at at conventions, and he knows he's probably like the best at it, but he's the most grounded individual. And like I asked him, I said like a flurry of people at TFCon Chicago, so I couldn't go. I had somebody else go pick it up for me. I was like, hey man, I need to ask a favor. He's like, what? I was like, can you sign it? He's like, why am I going to sign it? I was like, because I think this is an epic point in third party customized Transformers, and I want to be a part of it. I was like, can you please? He's like, okay. And then I told Sony, who is a reviewer from YouTube for TM Reviews, he got his signed. I think a couple of other people got theirs signed. So I'm just like, yeah, I kind of fell the trend. I was like, I said I'm sorry, but I'm not really sorry because you need to understand, like, you were just that, I think, important to our community. And so the
So what does he do?
conversation
Does he
was-
customize the whole figure, or
He
custom
customized the
paint
whole
jobs?
thing.
Yeah, so
The whole figure and
he
the
actually did the
paint.
artwork. So all of this. So this is kind of like part of the box art. He made it look almost like a video game. You know, when you like cycle through characters, he did that. So he came up with like a couple of prints. But
Character select
I didn't
screen.
get that one.
Oh yeah, because I talked to him. So.
Oh,
But yeah, this was a figure. This is this is Power Master Optimus Prime with the God armor. This is like they're on their 7th or 8th version of this, but he retools stuff. He will create a new paint job. He's done custom accessories. He did the same thing so it's been with like they got a pretty good family with fans hobby. And so I think his biggest thing that he did was to date before this was his wheel blade. So they took Athena, which is their version of a junior headmaster Minerva, and we haven't gotten a wind blade figure. She's like a new one that came out when there's like a animated series that came out like in little shorts. But like he created crazy swords. He did this. I mean, yes, it was a heavy retool with paint. He did the box art. He does a lot. The guy is a creative genius.
Okay.
And so like he does this stuff, and it's like I don't even know how much time he's got to do this because like when you look at these conventions, they're typically 5 to 6 months apart or less. Because I feel like we just had a convention before Chicago. Yeah, it was Chicago, then it was Toronto, but previous in LA. And so like that's like you got to get all this stuff done, productions, put these together. This is at one of 600 total.
Yeah.
Do you know what number you got?
No, mine didn't have a number. I don't think.
All of them have a number. So it's on the. You have to look at it. It's on the leg. It's on the inside of one of the legs, so it won't be on the box. I have to figure out which one mine is, but like, yeah, there's going to be a spot on it that you would have to find on the leg. So yeah, you would have to kind of untransform it a little bit to find on the leg. But yeah, so he did this. It's really cool. He did the Arson one as well, which is a new paint job, which is now a figure on the aftermarket that's going for like, it was a $90 figure. How much? It was like a $90 or $110 figure. $90 figure. Yeah, and now it's going for like $250, $300.
Yeah,
it was like super limited release.
Yeah, this one is 148 out of 600.
Yeah, so that's a good low number, man. So Jason has got 0, 0, 0, which is awesome.
You got the
and the wheel blades are the same too, because it was like Pocky for Life. He's another YouTuber. He designed, I think, an X-Transbots figure.
Yeah,
truck, and they've got his logo is on that figure, and no one will sell it. Like if someone does, it's expensive. But he's not. It's just that's what came in, and then I think for last time I got this guy. I got another one coming in. So this is X-Transbots version of Artfire. So he's a target master.
So how many of that guy's customs do you own personally?
I only have one right now because
that's
at
the
one
one
point,
you just showed us.
Yeah, I had his wheel blade. I didn't think to pick up. There you go. There's Arson, really good looking. So he's like the same paint as their Cap. He's a junior headmaster. So this is the Japanese continuity line to where this is where American and Japanese really separated.
Yep.
So it's actually really cool, Simmons. You might not have known this, but if you actually open up the chest, you would know this. The junior headmasters are included with Delta, God Delta, the one you just got. One of those paint schemes might work well with one of those figures.
Yeah, but I'm giving you this one.
I know, but I mean, like, I'm just saying though, like, if you look at it, some of the orange might work on that one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like he's done. I mean, I don't know how many he's done total. Like, he did
an
the
MP10 too. Remember?
Yeah, he did MP10. He did was it Make Toys Delta Manus? He did one of those in in the Chosen Prime colors, which is like a blue and yellow wheel blade.
He did the Starscream from Make Toys too, the G2.
Yeah, G2 Screamer. He's probably done 7 or 8. And then he was actually, what really sucks is he was actually doing one for LA, and I think it was New Age.
Yeah, they bailed.
They took his idea and so they stole his idea, like literally stole it and mass produced it.
Yeah.
I can't remember what figure it was going to be, but he was pissed.
Yeah.
Because it was all his design. So I'm excited to see what's next for him too, because then he's done like custom things for like TM reviews. He did a original G1 Jetfire with Fans Toys Phoenix. He did a shattered glass version for my buddy Grant. He did also for Grant. He took Quietus, which is their version of Cyclonus by Fans Toys, and made a shattered glass version of like this crazy orange that looks really, really good. So the dude is just talented, and
that's
like
awesome.
on Get Right Robot, you'll see him take everything apart and photo document everything. Hundreds upon hundreds of hours.
Mm-hmm. And the good thing about it too is like he's like, if you get a custom done by him, he walks you through the whole process from start to finish. Like if the color does the color look right? If it doesn't look right, then let's change it. Which not a lot of people do. You know, like on the Legend side, you know, we have old boy CTTS and those kind of guys, you know, that do our stuff for us. But you know, it's hard because like you just don't know sometimes like what you're going to get. With Jason, you know every step of the way.
Because he'll do a 3D rendering. Like he'll take the picture, he'll digibash it, and he'll figure stuff out. And the dude's unbelievably talented. Like I always get super creative by people who are artistic, you know. But yeah, it's just he's gonna be a legend. And what's great is that he pretty much is hands-on with the Chosen Prime, who's up the street from me. Even though he lives in like North Carolina, he'll fly out. So like TFCon LA next year, coming up in March, he'll be there. You know, the dude's just.
It's always awesome seeing guys like that are down to earth and humble. Man, there ain't nothing like it, dude.
Super humble.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and he's a good dude. Like I've met, you know, after everything that happened with me, Jason still talks to me. You know, he understands the things that happen. But at the same time, he's those kind of people that, like us, he'll reach out to you too. But are you okay?
Right.
You know, is everything all right? Like he's busy as hell, but he'll still take the time to do that.
Yeah. I mean, that just shows you somebody's heart. I mean, it is what it is. I mean.
And he's a big Dodge Viper fan.
Oh yes.
Nice.
He's a big car buff. You transform that like you transform it a million times, man.
It's been a while, but it's one of those things. Once you do it, you know, it's kind of like, oh yeah.
Now I know Nate already mad at me, but Scooter, but we're just gonna ignore Nate. But anyway, talking about.
Oh, you suck.
So, Target exclusive. Apparently, get everybody's orders. Now, this Scooter is one of them examples of it's a gamble. Anytime you buy something 6 months early or get it from Hong Kong or whatever. In my case, at the moment, we're on the line of tipping the scales if this thing will ever even get released. So you might be looking at one of, not the only, but one of the only ones that might, who knows? I don't know.
Seriously?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of crappy.
Close.
So you weren't here, and I explained it last week. So I had the same figure on order, and so Target's been making us, it's a Target exclusive one. So every day you'd have to go reaffirm that you wanted this pre-order, and so I did that for almost a month. And T-Man's been doing it every day for this long too. Um, and guess what? After all that, they still canceled my order. So
But we ain't just talking about Nate and T-Man. We're talking about hundreds of people.
hundreds and
Like,
hundreds of
straight up,
people.
just
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like Target. So there's a lot of times when in the past I've been toy hunting for Simmons, and I'll find a figure, and he might have I might have remembered saying like, oh, he says, oh, I got it on pre-order, and then suddenly like I might snap a picture of it, forgetting. He'd be like, they canceled my order. Like I think it was the Red Hood and
Yeah.
Something else.
If you see this, you don't even have to snap a photo. Just buy it, dude.
Just get it.
Who is it?
It's Outback.
His name's Outback. G.I. Joe Classified.
Okay, Outback. Okay.
The orange shirt. Yep, with the tiger on the shirt.
Yeah, he's not out yet. So, but
he's on Scooter. Just go ahead and grab it.
He's on the list.
I promise. Nate ain't gonna be bad.
That G.I. Joe list keeps growing. I look at that one being like, dude, this was one of the banes of my existence, was searching for G.I. Joe, because that's
just one of them. Who knows? I mean, there again, man, they may all of a sudden next month, and everybody gets it. So I'm not saying it.
Yeah, but
it's weird. Like, something going on.
So, what was it? For the longest, all you would see would be Common Commander and who's the guy that The Rock played in the second G.I. Joe movie?
Roadblock.
Roadblock. Like he just sat there. Like the whole classified show, just he was like the one, and then Common Commander just sat there, and there's nothing new. And then every now and again, I would find something. I'd be like, "You need this?" He's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Whatever you see, just grab it."
That's weird.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. Like the common ones are fine, but trying to get them damn exclusives are a pain in the ass.
Yeah, all the Snake Eyes movie ones are just sitting there at Walmart and Target.
They're gonna sit there till next year.
Yeah, that's. Ooh.
Well, Target right now has a buy one get one half off on toys.
Ooh.
Oh, you didn't get that email?
No, but I haven't been like toy hunting in like 3 weeks.
I just took advantage of that.
WWE. Oh, what'd you pick up, D-Dog? Oh,
Red Heart. But there was a. I didn't know it was buy one get one free. But hold on, let me grab it. It's right over here somewhere. Hold on. But there was a Chase version, and I know a lot of people into the Chase stuff.
Oh yeah,
Bret the Hitman Hart, pink Chase, and then you had the regular black suit, the classic. Early '90s. Anyways, I snagged both of those, but I didn't know it was buy one get one half off, which I was pleasantly surprised when I rang them up. But there you go. So,
is that an elite or an ultimate?
These are the elites.
Elites.
Not quite.
Yeah, I've seen. Oh, I haven't seen them in person, but I knew that there were chases for like the McFarlane line. I know like one of the Jokers that came out was like all bronze or all copper.
Right.
I've seen stuff like that. I didn't know that the WWE line had those.
Well, I didn't either until somebody. I was like, "What the heck?" I thought, and I looked at the number and then the box.
So this is just the first mode. The first mode out of many.
First mode of 3.
Yeah.
I just think of like that Deadpool moment. It's like it's 5 mini bots to go together to make one big bot. I'm like, this is kind of what you're doing right now. What will this ring get you? About another 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, it's been good for me. I gotta actually run, but y'all hang out or whatever. I'll holler at you, buddy.
All right, dude. Thank you, brother.
Dog.
All right, brother. See y'all. Appreciate you.
All right. Yeah, I remember this one.
Well, they got the orange one. They had the other TFCon exclusive was the Shattered Glass version. That was years ago.
And then they have the what was it? What's that? The Nucleon Quest one. The Fire Guts they had.
The all orange one?
Yeah. That one.
They just reissued him, I think.
Yeah, they just reissued him. And then I got
the V2 version 2 of the first, the main Power Bomb, Power Master.
Yeah, he's sitting over yonder. I just need God Bomber to go with them.
Yeah.
And that one's a pain in the butt to find though.
Yeah. 'Cause I watched was it God, I just posted his thing. I watched his review on that God Delta. It was pretty cool. But yeah, he brought out all those things because he's got every single version. I was like, that's a lot of one mold. That's like Fans Hobby, at least Fans Hobby has a lot of other stuff in the works, like the Double Agent, their Dreadwing and Darkwing. And then they're doing a repaint of their Armada Megatron, but they've painted him, I think, in Beast Wars colors.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm going to get that one.
Well, the first one sold out like super fast. I was kind of surprised at that.
Well, that one and the Armada Optimus are sold out. Like, you can't find them nowhere.
Yeah.
So you just have to wait for a reissue.
Yeah, Grant got it, and he was going to go get another one, and sold out on Shozi, sold out on Chosen Prime, gone. Like, normally Fans Hobby stuff sits around for a minute, and then it'll be like sold out.
Well, yeah, and the good thing too is like I looked on Fans Hobbies. Like you can buy everything right now from Fans Hobbies page, their Shopify, but you're going to pay like $80 to $100 in shipping per figure.
Yeah.
Because of overseas, and I'm like, nah, I'll just wait for a reissue on. Because like God Bomber is only $150 or $160.
They do though. It's usually Black Friday. Like if anybody wanted to get their the Horicons, the monster bots, they normally do a pretty good deal to where they slash those things down to like $60 to $80 each for the 3 of them. And then like when you add the shipping on, you're literally getting them for like $30-$40 cheaper than anywhere else. But then just waiting for them to show up. And they'll do the same thing with a lot of the power, like the Arch Enemy.
Yeah, the Scourge.
They'll have him go on sale, but those sales go pretty quick too because when they hit hard and people like jump onto what they want to get. So,
well, the hard part is like Scourge, they always have plenty of, but they never have his trailer. The trailer is a separate piece. Like I bought mine, my first set I bought from Brandon at TFCon because he had a deal. It was like $200 for both of them flat. So I'm like, okay. I took it in a heartbeat,
Yeah.
But that was 2017, so 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Arch Enemy's been out for a long time, and and so Fans Hobby is one of the few companies that's still reissuing the same figure, still making the same stuff. It's like and you're right about the sale because I'm waiting on that sale so I can get the monster bots. TF Source has it occasionally where they'll have like $69.99 or something like that. But
yeah, because that's the big thing. Like waiting on TF Source, like their Make Toys Headmasters will be all like $69, $79, $99. They'll probably try and get rid of that same Make Toys. Was it Computron version?
Oh, the Quantron, yeah.
Quantron, that thing will be like $200. Guaranteed that'll be on there. I'm assuming a lot of X-Transbots figures will be on sale. So like all their different versions of Helion, Cup version 2 will probably be like close to $100, if not cheaper. So I mean, like that's what I expect for Black Friday is to see some pretty epic sales out of TF Source.
They've been doing sales all year. It seems like every week there's been a sale on something, like especially Fans Toys, which that makes me happy. Because the rates for Fans Toys is going down, so that's good for us. Especially after everything that they've been doing. But
that's been the tough thing with them.
What I hate is that they're so like this, it's like up and down on pricing, and then that doesn't help us out as consumers.
But what's annoyed me like in the fan base is that people, the only company who spiked their prices was Fans Toys. They're the only one. And every retailer wanted to make some comment about, shipping this and shipping that. I'm like, then how come Fans Hobby hasn't gone through the roof? Their Double Evil is still $225. Same price as when they first came out. Mastermind Creations hasn't gone up that much. Like these guys went up by like maybe $5, $10 tops. Fans Toys, they added on $70 or so to some of these figures. I mean, you look at the fact that when Tesla, their version of Perceptor first came out, he was like $90, like
Yep.
$85, $90 when he first came out. And then they wanted to charge $225.
Yeah,
It's like,
buddy.
No.
That's
I
why
mean,
I
you look
never
at
bought
bigger-
Teslas.
Well, he went up, like, speaking of him, he got down to $149.99 on Shozi, and he will probably do it again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
And if that does happen, I'll be sure to tag you. As
yeah,
usual.
oh yeah. Well, it's like I'm on that Show Z group now. That I talked to the owner last week, and so they've got a group, the Facebook group now where he puts all the deals in there. So I said, just tag me on what you got, because I'll buy it. It's easier to do it that way because of the cost. Like now, granted, there is some like hit and miss. Like, okay, I usually get a lot of stuff in from them damaged, like box damage, versus versus like if I get it from like say Toy Dojo or Chosen Prime or something like that. I usually don't get any damage because it's already here, it's local. But sometimes the Show Z, it's a hit and miss. Some days you get good, some days you're like, oh crap, did it survive that damage?
What was it? I showed you those pictures. Was it like that? Was it Generation Toys or G Creations, the G2 Bomber Megatron? Like my box was smashed. It was crushed. Yeah, on one side, and even then, it still had the little plastic pieces, the caps they put on the sides and stuff. But like, I mean, it is hit or miss. But that we know, like, I can't be angry with Shozi because at the same time too, they can package it the best they want. I can't do anything and they can't do anything if someone's like, they drop my figure and then they kick it, or if something falls over that's heavier on it. Like, we can't, and I don't think people ever seem to get that too. Like, there's a huge group of people who just like, I want my money back. And they're going to be like, well, I'll give you points, but they've always looked out for me, and they've done very well. And I can't complain. Right now, I'm just trying to get the upgraded shoulder pieces from X Transbots for Virtus.
Oh, yeah.
So they already responded to me because I totally forgot about that. And so, yeah, I'm just, they're looking out for me on that one too, but it's tough. But yeah, I joined that group because they also, if you're really careful, you can get some stupid coupons that take off a lot of money that just get dropped. And there's only like 100 of those coupons. So like, you have to be ready where your cart is full and you just need to put that coupon in and then hit send.
Yeah, well, and the good thing too is like the premium. Like if you pay for premium, it's like $5 or $10 a year, and you get and you get 3 times the amount of points. So you think about that. Like if you buy a Fans Toys and it's like $100, okay, you just got 300 points. Well, 300 points ends up being $3, but you start gaining it. Like I'm at over 30,000 points with Show Z. Because I have bought so much crap through the years and never cashed in. So I cashed in for the Moon Studios for the last 4, and they were free almost.
Yeah, that's epic. And aren't they doing a box set?
They're
doing a box set now.
TF Source is doing a box set. They're the only people doing a box set for it, and they're charging.
So are they creating their own? It was $700. It was
$700. Yeah. And you can get them $100 a piece at Show Z.
Yeah, they're on. Yeah, they dropped because when they first came out, they were like 100. I think it was like 109 was what they were going to be, and then they got up to they went to 119 and then 124, and then this reissue they were $99.99. Like, so I posted in that Transformers chat group. That's the one thing. Like, Show Z is the only place that I trust because they update the fastest and the most, and so. If I see like a discrepancy, like I was going to say, like price wise, I think the only time that they don't really win, and for me, it's always been Fans Hobby. Like their prices have never been good on Fans Hobby, but everything else, they're typically really, really good.
Yeah. Especially X Transbots. Like they'll have those sales on X Transbots, like, and you can get like crazy deals. Like I bought Apollyon way back when, for like $50 from Show Z.
Yeah. And he came with a lot of accessories too. He came with that long metal chain, mace and stuff. Yeah, I got him from TF Source for a pretty decent price because he was originally like 160 or something like that, 150, and I got him for like $80.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, and it's hit or miss, but like when they put things on sale, they do really well. Like what we saw, like even items that are new, I found it's been weird to where the pre-orders are up and then it's already on sale. I
Yeah.
was like, what? It's like, not gonna argue, but yeah, the points, you can build up points way faster with them than anybody else by far, bar none. Like, it's taken me years to get to $75 with TCP.
Oh, not me.
Oh,
No.
we know that story though. I mean, yes, man. Like, I get it.
But that's my local though. That's the thing. It's like those are the two I go to. I go to Chosen Prime or I go to Toy Dojo. I've been loyal. That's why I bought the Power Master Octopus Prime because I always wanted that MP10 version, but they never sold it.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, Brandon's a great guy from the Chosen Prime. Eddie is another stand-up character because I remember, what was I picking up for you? I was picking up one of the Fexo Promenons, I think, the Batman version.
Yeah.
And they were only limiting to a certain number. Like, they were selling one at a time. I went up to Eddie. I was like, hey, Eddie, do you remember Nathan Simmons? He's like, yeah, I know Nate. I was like, he wants one. Can I get permission to buy one more? He goes, yeah, no problem. Anything for Nate. I was like, yes. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
I was able to get you yours.
Yep.
Yeah, because I mean that was a hot item.
Yeah, me and Eddie go way back when they first started. Because Brandon's Chosen Prime blew up real fast. Because when he first started selling, I want to say that was early, like 2010, 2009, 2010 is what I think. And then, but Eddie, I'd already bought from before. Them and ages 3 and up from Canada, because they were getting, the exclusives in from up there from BotCon and stuff like that. So I was buying those up there.
Well, they always share tables. That's what I was wondering. Is there any more between them? Because like when I went to TFCon LA, they're the far back end by where all the autographs were and stuff. It was Toy Dojo and ages 3 and up, and they always seem to. So like Mastermind Creations is an example. That's always those exclusives always hit ages 3 and up and Toy Dojo.
And then what happens is, if you notice too, Fans Hobby always sets up Chosen Prime. It always goes with them.
Used to be Make Toys.
Used to be Make Toys. But now Make Toys is pretty much predominantly just TF Source now. So I kind of wonder if TF Source bought out Make Toys.
So we asked that question. So Sony on TM Reviews got into that and he said no. But what happened though is that TF Source has kind of, so to eliminate the crowdfunding thing, I think TF Source has put up a chunk of change to get these cone heads done, because they know damn well that if they finish the cone heads, if they do the rest of the Target Masters and Headmasters, that they could sell out all those figures if they just complete what they had already promised. Like they would, bar none, I don't think, because like just one prime examples from them, transformations were never that bad. The fact that the gun slid into the hand, it didn't peg in, so they stayed in. There's tons of things that they did that were far better than anybody else. Even Fans Toys is now starting to do a slide in on certain figures. So it's like, if they can complete that, that is a huge shelf for a lot of people to get those Target Masters and Headmasters done.
Well, they need a re-released Contact Shot first. God.
I'm just glad I got him.
Well, and like I sold mine to help somebody out, but I didn't realize at that time like like how much he's valued at.
He's about 250 to 300 right now.
Yeah, and I sold him for 115. And that was,
you sold him for original retail.
I did. I was trying to help somebody out, But then I was like, okay, I'll go back and buy it. Oh no, you're not just going to go back and buy that one anymore. He's gone. It's like I thought. Okay, he'd be like Cupola and Hybrid or Hardhead. I'm like, I'll find him somewhere. Nope, nobody's selling them either.
Yeah, and I looked. I remember scouring the internets, and I think I found one at like Robot Kingdom, but then they were just like, yeah, we're not shipping this one internationally. I was like, what? It's like, come on, man. It was like $170, and it was like 25 for shipping. I was like, I'll do it. But they're like, nope, sorry, you're in the U.S. It was like, your order has been denied. I was like,
Yeah, but here's the thing. I have I have addresses all over the world, literally, at Hong Kong, China, Japan, Korea, um, the UK, Canada. That way, I can have a forwarding service forward it to me.
well, yeah, that's like, so here in the U.S., there's a company called UShip,
Yep.
and it's basically a warehouse, and you get in. So if like you live in the UK and you want to get like a bunch of crap from Walmart, Target, Bed Bath and Beyond, whatever, all of your stuff will get shipped there to your account, which is like your bin number, storage number, PO box, whatever. And then after it hits a certain amount, they deal with all the customs, all that stuff, and then you get, depending on, it might be one box, might be two. I know that for the US. I didn't know if they do stuff like that similarly for other countries, which it sounds like they probably do.
Yeah, like I say, I use it's a service called Tip Trans. They do mine for Hong Kong, China, the UK, and then I have another one called Aftership, and they do mine for Germany, um, the French and the Italian side, and then I have another one for Japan called
Damn.
Tenso. But you have to have those. I mean, like if you're trying to get stuff forwarded, it's like, and here's the thing: is that you're going to pay for shipping. Shipping's going to cost you. Doesn't matter. You're either paying it straight to yourself or you're paying it to be forwarded to you. But guess what? Not all companies will ship to the U.S.
Yep.
So you got to figure it out. Like a lot of the exclusive like movie stuff I get, if Amazon UK doesn't ship it, I've got to have it forwarded, from overseas. HMV is a good example. Like HMV only sells within the UK.
Yep.
So if you buy,
that was the record store that I used to go to get my music.
yep. So HMV is great for that, but they don't ship international. They said nope, we ship to UK. So they ship to my UK address, and then what'll happen is everything gets there. They'll consolidate it, and then they'll forward it to here.
Yep. And that was like what I noticed when I started looking into Amazon Japan. But the hardest part for that was to figure out who were legit sellers, and then most of the sellers that would ship to the US, you either had to buy X amount, so you couldn't just buy one figure, or it would have to be one of those things where you would have to have a Japanese address. So I noticed that where I just gave up. If other people have already figured all that stuff out, like my buddy Sean Williamson, he's one person who's like, I partnered with him when getting the Takara Tomy Nightbird. And so he helped me out with that one. And so then I just paid for the shipping from his house to me. And yeah, he's got already all that stuff situated. I think he's military. So I think he lived over there. So he's already got all that stuff set.
Yep. And I can help you too. Remember, I said I have all that too. Sean and I were talking about that last year. Is like how much stuff we have shipped from overseas to us.
Right.
It's like my Amazon Japan list is like this long of stuff.
Well, I'm curious on that Valkyrie, the Jetfire one. What's going to happen with shipping? Because I think you just went with BBTS, right?
No, for mine, I went to Takara Tomy Mall.
Okay, was that the one that they were selling it through? The one that had the let up features, where it was like $109 as a down payment, but it was still like significantly cheaper than everybody else.
Yeah, I did.
How's that shipping going to work? You have to pay shipping afterwards?
I'll have to pay shipping afterwards, but it was like $5 or $10 to ship to my Japan address.
Oh heck yeah!
From Takara, so it would cost me probably $30 to ship to here, 20 to 30. But
that's still not bad.
But it's still, by the time I'm done, I still save $35 compared to the US price.
Yeah, it was $279.
Yeah, it's crazy.
BBTS was not joking when they jacked up the price on that one. I think they did a second jack up on price too. I was just like, no.
Chosen Prime did too. Theirs was expensive too for it. I was like, it's Jetfire. He turned it into a plane. Not that expensive, but he's big. He's massive.
Well, he's only going to stand like 7-something inches. It's just the fact that he probably comes with every accessory under the sun that makes the pack big. That was the big thing with Jetfire. He was never that big as a toy, but when you put up all the afterburners, the armor plates on the arms, the knees, and everything, Oh yeah, speaking of which, what you showed me last time, the one you just picked up.
Yeah, buddy. Jetfire,
Yeah,
the real one. The real
super
G.
diecast. Tons. He's on a metal frame.
It's all metal. And like I'm careful though, because I don't want them to break.
Yeah.
Because I got it. It was it's been painted. Like the back part here, this was all painted, repainted.
I was
It
gonna say
did.
he doesn't. He looks too white. He should be yellow.
Well, everything else is white. Other than that, like
Nice.
not like literally, he's in good shape, really good shape. Looks like they just painted some of it. But other than that, I mean, he still has some of his stickers still.
Oh
So
wow.
the only thing is they gave me these two pieces, as thrusters, but nothing, no way to connect it to him. So
Oh yeah, because he needed the wire pack on the back, and you
yeah,
plugged
it
those
goes,
two
it
into
goes
the
up.
backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I had him as a kid.
I never had him. I've never owned that figure till now. I always wanted it, but like every time I see it, it's like $300 to $700 for that thing.
Oh yeah, I showed you. I was at the collector's marketplace here in Phoenix, and I sent you pictures, and the guy was asking like $500, no box. Came
No,
with
nothing.
like I think it came with almost some of the stuff, but I was just like, it didn't. It was very yellow.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Nah, I can't do it. I mean, I saw one when I was down in LA. It was $500 with a box. And the only thing though is it was missing his gun and the holder for his gun. I'm like, dude, trying to find the gun for Jetfire, it'd be a pain in the ass. You're just better off just going to go buy it, loose, and then try to build it, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build it loose. So if I can, I get 2 parts. If I can get some more parts, he can be remade.
I used to see those parts pop up on eBay a lot.
And they're cheap too. I mean, everybody had it. What everybody didn't have was the actual bot in good color. Like mine's solid white. Like he's good. So I'm just kind of hesitant to like mess with it too much. I don't want it to break.
Yeah, I would have. My whole thing is I would have gotten into the his crab walk position. That was like my favorite thing. I love watching those movies.
Oh yeah, well, and that's why I have all of these guys. I showed T-Man last week. We were talking. So like this old Die Atlas I have from Takara Legends. I'm wondering if they're going to redo it into the new Legacy Evolutions. And he was like, eh. I'm like, dude, you have no idea who that is, do you? Because it's Japanese G1. It's a big difference, Like everybody knew Power Master Optimus Prime because they made a season with Power Master Optimus Prime in it. Him and Billy. Everybody hated Billy. Just let Billy die.
And well, to me, like the biggest mistake that they keep making is they keep bringing in the human element. It's like it doesn't need it. They don't like Spike and Carly and the kid in the wheelchair and whatever was like okay, like it was fine. The movie they kind of kept it to the minimum. There's 3 of them, 2 of them. There's just Spike and Daniel. There weren't any other humans, but it was like they kept it as like a minimal because they don't you don't need them. I mean,
yeah,
they talk.
Well, it's like
they communicate.
Like in Bumblebee, I mean, they made it a good aspect with the girl. It's like that made sense. She helped rebuild him. It's like you got him running. He's doing what? Now he's gone. Bye bye. I don't need you human no more.
Yeah, I'm not excited for this
Rise of the Beast.
It's not excited. Don't really care. I never liked Beast Wars anyways.
We didn't grow up with Beast Wars. That's the difference. We grew up with G1. If we were 90s kids and grew up with it, it might be different, But
I mean, I remember Reboot, which was the same studio that did that, and it's just like, it was supposed to be like breakthrough, like CGI, but nothing to me beats a hand-drawn cartoon.
No,
it's the same issue I have with anime nowadays. Is when it's just too much CGI and not enough like artistic talent.
And that's the thing, though. Nobody does it anymore. Nobody does hand-drawn because it's the effort of how many people that you have to have versus one person to animate a whole show. It's we're never going to see. Even like Dragon Ball, for example. I mean,
Oh, it's gone even worse. Like when I started seeing the commercials for like the latest movie that came out, I lost all interest because of how it was animated.
Yeah.
No interest whatsoever. It literally looks like they're video games, which already look like trash to me.
yeah, the only one that I like playing is Kakarot. Kakarot was fun.
I was
But
out on that. I mean, like, I grew like first anime movie that I watched, and I don't consider Transformers that, even though it was an anime studio that did it, was Akira, which is by far one of the greatest movies. Princess Mononoke, Ninja Scroll,
Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost. Oh God, OG Ghost in the Shell was dope. Even Trigon was amazing. Not really looking forward to the remake because
I'm not watching it. I refuse to.
I mean,
It's
Vampire Hunter D.
Bloodlust. I actually like
Bloodlust.
Yeah, Bloodlust was good, but it was just like you kept you wanting more. You're like, I want another series. I want to, and they end up making a comic book, to continue it, but it's not the same.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm kind of glad they're continuing Hunter x Hunter. But that guy's been sick for years. I'm really sad. Like, really angry was Berserk.
That new series was crap.
Oh, so bad. It wasn't the only time it was good though were the fight scenes. Just because like at that point I didn't care about the animation. I just liked the fact that I was getting the fights that I wanted to see. But I mean, honestly, it wasn't drawn the way that I wanted because like Guts with that sword.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that are just going that way because it is cheaper. I mean, that's why we lost like Transformers Prime. The only reason why that was canceled was because of the fact that each episode was just too expensive. And that's the reason we lost it. But that was probably one of the best like CGI animated series I've ever seen.
That was the last good Transformers animated series. The last good one.
Agreed.
I mean, like I watched that whole War for Cybertron one, it was such haphazardly done that it didn't make sense for a lot of it, especially Super Starscream. Give me a break. Come on.
I didn't even finish it.
I watched all of it, you know me, but I was just like, man, this is so bad. And it ends up being the opposite of what you want. It's not like in the 80s where the cartoon was made to sell toys. In this one, it was the toys were trying to sell you the show, and we didn't buy it. We didn't buy the show because it was like, it's nothing we know. You can't give me the opposite of what I don't know already.
Yeah. Like I found it dumb that they had the 5mm pegs everywhere. Like I didn't like it. I think I got into the second episode of Kingdom and I just gave up. I was really annoyed with how they played off Scorponok. Like I thought that was dumb.
Oh God, yeah. They blew that. I mean, they could have had him show up. Fort Max could have showed up, and that could have been the end of it. Or had Unicron show up at the end of it. I mean, come on. He's a freaking HasLab figure. He was he's the War for Cybertron, Unicron. You could have had a whole ending series of that. And no, not one thing about it. And that's what drove me nuts. Now the toys were fun. Like the 3 series were fun. Like, I mean, I've got tons of like Earthrise, Siege, and Kingdom. Like, I still have fun playing with the little, where is she at? Somewhere. The Air Razor, the little bird.
Oh yeah, the bird. I remember I found that for you.
Yeah, and then I found it again for $6 at Ross, so I bought another.
Well, I mean, like I think the last good, besides like the War for Cybertron, Siege, all that stuff line, there wasn't a good figure until you go back to Titan's Return. I think Titan's Return was a huge turning point for the Chug collector base. I mean, yes, there were tons of characters that should never been headmasters, but I do think there was a huge change in engineering and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I love Titan's Return. I mean, it's like I hated Combiner Wars. Titan's Return. Powers of the Prime, I understood what they were trying to do, but it was pretty much just a rehash of everything again. Um, but like bringing back the real headmasters in Titans Return, bringing back Mindwipe, freaking, you know, um, Highbrow, everybody,
Yeah, Weird
from
Wolf, Trigger
Headmaster,
Happy.
all those ones. I was like, dude, this is awesome. But then you couldn't find none of them either. That was the worst fail in Titans Return. Like, I never once ever saw the pink jet from the last wave and the double nose cone jet. Never found those two. The other target masters from the Decepticons. I
Oh, I found
found
all of them.
I found Trigger Happy. He was easy to find. I found him
Yeah,
everywhere.
but Highbrow was harder to find.
Yeah. Well, and then the Walgreens always had Brainstorm forever.
Oh yeah,
You could find Brainstorm forever, and it was hard because I'd go to every Walgreens. There's Brainstorm. Okay, there's Brainstorm. Nope, that's not what I need. I need the other ones. And I think it's because of distribution. Where we lived at, they didn't get it. They didn't
yeah.
get those waves in. So Slug Slinger, and I forget what the other one's name is. I keep forgetting the pink one. Um, but those ones were a pain. You can never find them. Um, but like now, there's no excuse. I mean, for a lot of these, unless they're an exclusive,
Mhm.
like the Walmart ones, like that's a pain in my ass. So luckily, I was able to take two off the list because I got them through polls.
Oh, nice. Do you? Yeah, I still haven't seen a Cosmos yet.
Dude, you ain't never going to see a Cosmos. It ain't going to happen. It's a myth. It's a unicorn.
Yeah, I've seen they restocked my Walmart. They restocked Scourge. They put him back up, and then that whatever Overbite, something like that. The white car that I picked up for you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he hit back in real quick, and then he was gone.
yeah. Overdrive's. I mean, he's never going to last long because he's Cybertron. So, and he's actually designed very well. Like his engineering makes sense, and I think that's kind of the nice thing about Generations is it's fun to do. You can go back and forth. They ain't like fans' choice. Like, oh crap, here we go. It's like we were talking. I think it was yesterday. Like I'm gonna hate to transform those into alt modes just
Yeah.
to put them on Minosaur. Whenever we get Bandit in the shell.
Well, because it didn't. So I think with X Transbots, the arm bots, and same thing with like DX9 Satilla, they split in half, but it didn't look like Fans Toy Smokey didn't. Like he actually had a weird type of waist swivel that doubled and extended. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Let's
So
see. Um, let's see. Yeah. See, see, this has a. Yeah, this don't come apart
yeah.
because I'm looking at it and
Well,
there's.
he wouldn't. He breakdown's part of the leg, so
Yeah.
he would just literally just clip on. It's going to be your bandit and drag strip that will
Yeah.
go into half for the arm. But even then, when looking at him in robot mode or in car mode, you don't know how he would clip on. He would literally probably have to have something that would wrap around him to keep him on, especially with what he weighs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like if we can't get Bandit, at least give us the other two aerial bots to finish up Superion.
Right. I mean, like I said, like people aren't going to care if he doesn't combine because most people I think are happy with Zeta.
Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna buy the Zeta Superion and the Bruticus. That I've
You
had
get
both of
the
those.
yeah, but you're probably going to do the one with the die-cast chest piece.
Yeah, the Bruticon, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Bruticon and Superatron.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Because
they also you just got to be careful because they did a version of Armageddon, so the original, and then they did him with a die-cast chest. So you got to be just got to remember they've got one that has the cartoon feet, so the feet matches the color of the leg bot, and then they've got the original, which I have, which is just 2 silver feet, which I think looks better.
Yeah, well, I had the original. I had the Armageddon when he was an individual before he was in a box set.
That's what I got.
And he's not bad. I mean, he just doesn't look like the cartoon. He looks like the toy,
He's
which
imposing though.
Oh yeah,
He's beefy.
And he's solid though. That's the thing. Him and Superior Turn are solid. Like if you put them down on a shelf, they're not moving. They're not going nowhere. Just like the Predaking won't once we get all the parts in from King.
Dude, I've been seeing so many pictures of him built. I'm just like, oh my god! Like, he's not like cartoon accurate, but God, does he look like he's got presence?
I can't wait for that last 2-pack to come in for you. You can have
but you've got 2-pack with the monkey pants. You got 2-pack with King Lion, and then there's the Rhino. It's a Rhino.
Yeah,
Headstrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Headstrong or something like that. He's the Rampage. No, we already got Rampage. Yeah, Headstrong. He's got the Ox. Yeah, so it's Headstrong, the Rhino. He's the last one that we're waiting on.
Yeah, and he'll probably come with all the parts. That's what I'm thinking. I think he'll come with all the extra bits. Let's see. I'm looking at it. Yeah. Yeah. Ferocious, Land Bull, Firmament.
Ferocious and Land Bull, like to kick off, were awesome. Like those, they hit really heavy with those two.
And you got Thrilla in that one, so 7 and 8. So yeah, that's. But the big thing is like, I want to see. Just for me, I always like just the Lion by himself. I always had two copies of him, one for Predaking, and then one just to be the bot.
Mm-hmm. But for this one, I don't think bot will even. I mean, bot might work, but I think it's kind of like with Armageddon. Like he'll only work for combiner mode. His bot mode won't work for any of them, and his alt mode won't work for any of them. That's why, like, if I was to do that, I would probably go after MMC, but somebody else would have to do a more tune accurate version of Predaking for me to use them as bot or alt mode.
Yeah,
because they went too Zoid, in my opinion.
Oh, they did. I mean, you look at these things; these look like a damn Zoid forever. But what's cool is that you're getting the 2 wolves. That's what's awesome.
Well, and I think that's the big thing that I think people need to understand too with Kang is that, like, if you don't put them in your combined mode, your hands turn into a gigantic crab. Your feet are 2 other characters. Your monkey pants is a whole nother figure that almost pretty much looks like an Optimal Optimus.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think about people who like to custom. I mean, he looks good. Like that monkey, even though he's not part of the Predacons, looks really good.
I just want to know what went through their heads. Oh, we're just going to add a monkey to Predaking.
But you remember seeing the pictures of Toy World? They're the ones that came out with it, and they came out with those weird little images, and then suddenly everybody's like, why is there an Optimus Primal there?
Yeah.
Like, people were confused. So I think they just took it right with it. Oh, yeah, but who cares? If he looks like he's going to be menacing and destroy everybody, then sure. I mean, I still don't understand why the Dinobots combine.
They should never combine, period. But but I will say the G Creation Shuriken is freaking awesome to have in your hands.
He is on sale right now. He is on sale right now at CSRs. But no, it's the Dark Shuriken one.
The Dark Shuriken, yeah.
Yeah.
If I got one, it'd be the normal one, But I'm like, but his size, he's small. I mean,
he's Chug.
He's a Chug size. Like, he would work perfectly with Chug. He'd be a big, tall guy. He's not 2 foot tall, but he'd be like Devastator size.
Well, it's like, I think TFC, what they should do is, I think their Poseidon is something that needs to be redone. They just need to create like the frame that Zeta uses, and so like improve the ratchets in the shoulders. I mean, I know they went for the all-in-one, didn't work, but that's a figure that I think they've got everything right besides combined mode. So if you make them a little bit bigger, and then you work on that articulation and the frame for the combiner, he'll look dope. Same thing with Hades. They just need to make him bigger because he only comes in about 15 inches. They don't need to be 20. They don't need to be 2 feet. I think having this scale size, they don't all need to be 20.5 inches tall. You can have some things. I think Predaking needs to be big. Devastator can be big. Venusaur can be smaller. Computron can be a little bit smaller. Superion can be big. Like I can agree to that. I don't need to have them all the exact same height. But I can't have a 20 inches and a 15 inches. That doesn't work.
That's well, and it's like I'm looking on Chosen Prime right now. Hades, $500.
Overpriced.
Well, dude, I had Hades when he first came out, and he was $70 per figure. I want to say so 70, and then 100 for Leozak. So,
so 280, $380.
Yeah, so 300. So it's almost $100 less. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. Not for a figure like that today, because he wouldn't fit in. He'd fit in with a chug scale, but I mean, he wouldn't. I need one to go with my fans' hobby one. That's the Leozak. I mean, that's the what I need for that. And if this Dreadwind and Darkwing go well, I think we'll see Leozak. We'll see him be the first one out the pipe.
Mm-hmm. I'm waiting. Usually fans hobbies. Oh yeah, I asked fans. Fans hobbies usually pretty good at responding to comments on Facebook. I just asked them. I was like, "So you're doing like little flight things for Double Agent and Darkwing and all that stuff?" I was like, "So you can have like a flight stand that can hold that combined mode because that thing looks pretty beefy." So,
oh yeah,
that'd be cool.
It's gonna be massive.
That'd be cool to see.
I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put it at here because I don't know. I don't know if I want to hang it from the roof, from the ceiling, or just have it on top of something. But I was like, it looks big, dude. It looks like, by the time it's done, it's like that bit long.
Yeah,
longer.
I definitely think it's probably gonna be. My guess would be like 16 to 18 inches long combined.
Yeah.
It's gonna be big. It'll be longer than Double Evil's jet mode.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Double Evil's jet mode and combined mode was always lacking, but it's like, come on. If it's Dreadwind and Darkwing, they've got to combine. And
yep. And they've got those pictures. Yep. They've got those posted, so I think they're doing really, really well. I'm excited. So December, so next month, I think it will be their double dealer, so their double agent, both versions, which everybody's going to go for the original, which is B, which is the purple wings, because that's all that makes sense. And I don't know, but I think Dreadwing would probably be like end of first, beginning of second quarter.
Yeah, but they need to get pre-orders up for them though. That's a problem.
Yeah, those two I don't think they've got. I mean, like Shozy probably does, but it's like the $1. We don't know when it's coming.
We have no clue. Yeah, like they do for all their stuff, which is usually what turns off people from Shozy, because you just don't know how much it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, they did that for the Fort. They did that for TFCon when they announced the Fort Max body. They did that this last TFCon for Ultra Magnus. They don't even know what the release date is. But they do that all the time. They did the same thing when they announced Phantasm and Jazz and all that stuff. Like the same night they were up for pre-order.
Oh yeah, I've got tons of them ordered to them. Them and Terry's TF Terry's TF Club. Shoot. $1 deposit, that's all you need. Okay, get to know how much it is later. I'm all right with that.
Yeah,
you secure them now. Now the one that I was trying to use for a while was Bombus B or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
And they jacked their shipping costs way through the roof. So like I wanted. They had a couple of the Fort Max heads, from Fans Toys.
Oh, Cerebros. Yeah, Cerebros.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, let me get a couple more just to be extra. And I'm like, and it was like $150 per figure But then they wanted $80 for shipping per figure. I'm like, I'm not giving you $80 for a figure. No.
Yeah,
Well,
and,
what do you
and
get?
that's when, but that's when like people were trying to justify the increased cost of the figure with shipping when it was never that much in the first place.
Mm-mm. No, it's like I know how much it is. Like literally, you're buying it wholesale. So if you're buying it wholesale, it's even cheaper than what that sale price. So it shows he has. It's still way cheaper than that. They're making a gang of profit off of it. Is what they're doing. Because like when I ordered through Fans Choice Direct, it was a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
But what they were doing was costing us out on actual shipping. So what a lot of people don't understand is that you had to pay all the shipping, all the taxes, all the deposits down as soon as you ordered. So and then go buy and pay for the rest of the figure when it's time to come in. So it's not cheap, folks. It's not an easy business.
Yeah, but it's tough. Like I was just talking with a friend in one of the groups today, being like the disparity between like American retailers and Shozy, where you're seeing things like Big Firebird or like the Nicey figures. Like you're talking about almost like it's a 40 to 50% markup in the U.S. retailers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bought what was it, the CDRL 2, the redo with the actual G1 head.
Yeah,
So,
they were supposed to not come out with. Yeah.
yeah, I got it for $60 from Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Versus 200 or 150, whatever they're having.
It was something insane. Like the price differential was just. I mean, like I have no problem buying from U.S. retailers if it's like a $5 difference. But when I start seeing like double digits, I'm just like, I don't mind waiting. Shozy, like, and even right now, like when I ordered Artfire, because I had $100 worth of points, shipping was $3 for 10 days. I was like, because it used to be like, and when things were really really bad, that was like $25.
Yeah, 25,
Easily,
35.
Depending on the dimensions of the box and the weight and whatnot. And I was just like, nah, I'll do express. I'll do the cheap economy shipping and just wait 45 days. And there are a lot of times I waited 45 days and sometimes even longer for something to show up. And now it's like just $3.25, like for the last one. Click. It's like I'm saving. And this one I was saving. It was one. So TCP did adjust their prices because for the X trans bots, the grapple mold and whatnot, they were charging like $130, and then they dropped their prices to $120 to actually match for once. But they haven't matched on a lot of other things. Like I said, like that Nicey, the Big Firebird, their version of the Windblade, they still got her at like $150, $160 when it's $70. It shows you like $75.99 or whatever. So it's just not worth it in a lot of cases. And even then, now we're seeing that with like, especially Fans Toys. Like, yes, Shozy may ask for you to put a pretty hefty deposit down. Like before you picked up Blaster for me, like they wanted a $40 deposit on him.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like $1 to $3. But Fans Toys is usually $10 plus on any pre-order. Now it's just like, and then I was like, oh yeah, I've got him pre-ordered. And you're sitting back, well, I already got him for you. It's like, okay, I'm canceling pre-order. I was like, I want my deposit back. It's like, yeah. But even then, they like I said, Perceptor came out. Everybody was charging $225 for Tesla 2.0. Shozy came right in at $199, and then it dropped to $189. And then what they did, same thing with Skull Smasher with their Chomp. He was $225, and then they dropped him a lot. And what they ended up doing, which most other no retailer did, Shozy credit. I suddenly had like a crap ton of points because they made up the difference in price by giving me points to buy something else. That's huge. Like TCP will price match, but they will only price match other U.S. retailers. They won't. Exactly. Yeah, only U.S. And they're all on the same price anyways. Like I think like one figure, I remember where TF Source was like cheaper by like $5, and then like everybody else like I feel like they wait to see who's going to price what, and then they all just follow suit. But like I know TCP, like, well, I'm not going to say that here, but they will try and look out for you, but there's just points to where they can't.
Yeah,
but
I mean that's the thing is as a retailer, you can only do so much.
Yeah, because you're forced to buy. Like I said, you were saying, you also as a distributor, you can't buy. It's harder to buy one figure. They're usually like McFarlane. He wants your first order's got to be like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. Super 7, they want you to spend. You have to spend like a large amount of money that you would never think of to actually get something at a profitable price for you to sell at. And most people don't have that money, and I don't think a lot of people get that. And I've learned more about it because I've worked with you, I've worked with Tim, I've worked at multiple conventions now. And like Fans Toys, you're buying what, like 20, 30 items per like a unit or whatever, like depending on the figure. Like you're buying rig, you're probably getting like 20 of them. You know, you're getting a Quietus, you're probably getting 6 to 8. But each of those figures was like $200 a piece. Do the math. You know, that just suddenly turned into a $200 figure, turns into a $1,200 plus order or an $1,800 order. And, you know, you're trying to satisfy all these people. So you suddenly have an order of 20 of them. Then think about how many boxes you've got to buy. And then, like you said, you got to put down shipping, taxes, and then a deposit.
Yep.
And that's coming out of your pocket.
My pocket. Nobody else's. Just like, we were talking about Dracula the other day. Literally, I paid for all of them, at the 200 and 220 mark.
Yeah.
And so I called them on that one. I said, no, this is ridiculous. I said, as a small time retailer, no. I only bought 6 total. I bought 2 for Fong, 1 for you, 1 for Riff, and then 2 for me.
Yeah, so you have 1 in each mode. Yeah.
Exactly, but I
was that gonna be like because that's a big box? So would that have been like one case, or did you have to buy like more? Like
it was
individual.
They did me a case of 6, of
nice. It. Cool.
But it's typically a case of 8.
Oh. It's a big box. So like if people don't know, Dracula also comes with a flight stand. So when it comes with a flight stand, it's typically not really broken down. Like you got the base, but then like there's massive
arm.
There's the massive arm, and that same thing on Sovereign. It just takes up a lot of space, and then you go from a package being like that thick to suddenly being like.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like this thick, and it's like this wide and this long. I mean, it's a full size box. I mean, I've got yours. Yours is already boxed up, so I'm waiting on your King to come in.
Those double packs are. I saw the other one.
It's another big pack, just like the other one I sent you. So
yeah,
but that comes in. I think that comes in December.
I didn't even get to open it. I just took it right to storage. I opened it to look at it, and I just took that smell of plastic. I was like, and then I sighed, and then I taped it back up, and then we took it to storage. So.
Well, I mean, your box will be nice. It's going to be Aussie, Hitch, Dracula, the King, and then the Arson. So you have a nice little Christmas box.
Hell yeah, dude! I'll put that under my tree.
And then Fong's box keeps growing and growing every time.
Well, he's now. God, I talked to him the other day, and I am. Don't get me wrong. Is it Mayfex that's doing all the Motu stuff?
Mondo.
Oh my God, he sent me a picture of that Battle Cat.
Yeah, you should see when I bought it for him.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah, $500 is how much that Battle Cat cost.
For one?
For one.
How big is he?
Like big. Like my table, he's probably a third, 1/3 less of my table.
Damn.
He's a big thing. But you remember, the He-Man figures are 1/6 scale. It's a 1/6 scale Battle Cat.
So this would be in line with Mondo would be in line with like Hot Toys, right?
Yeah.
1/6 scale?
Yeah.
Damn, that's big.
Yeah, and I mean that's one line he's had me buy for him for years. Is that and then the Thundercats. All the Super 7 one.
Did you order the battle tank?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that supposed to be coming soon?
January, February they're saying, but it keeps getting pushed back. I'll see it when I see the invoice.
Right, and now the Super 7, speaking of them too, just released the Star Trek: The Next Generation line.
Dude, I might actually have to break down and get one.
It looked really good. Like I saw Data and Riker. I was like, and then a Borg. I was like,
I want the
ooh.
Borg. Out of everything, I don't give a damn about Riker. I just want the Borg.
You know, I didn't look too closely. I couldn't tell if it was the Picard Borg or if it was just a Borg. But I was like, damn, dude, he had the whole
Let's
arm
see.
unit.
I gotta look. If it's Lakotas, it's gonna be even better. But see, I want the girl too, though, from the movie.
Oh, you're talking about the villain from the movie, the Star Trek
Yeah.
Nemesis or whatever, the Borg one.
Yep, it's Lakotas. It is Picard. Yep.
That's dope. See, that's epic because I remember what impact that had when he got converted and how they always drew it back on as the seasons like progressed. Like something would happen and he would get like a Borg thing, and then they tied it into the movie. I was like, way to go back to the fan favorite thing.
They got a Whoopi Goldberg. Come on.
Hell yeah, dude. She was a therapist. Well, bartender therapist. One and the same.
The one thing I might buy too, though, is the Bruce Lee. I love that Bruce Lee one. Enter the Dragon they're doing.
Well, more than likely, I'm sure Fong's ordered that because that's like his favorite person.
He hasn't yet.
Uh-oh. I won't say anything, I promise.
But I mean, he's doing everything Super 7. Like he's doing Thundercats, Silverhawks, and then those. I'm like, good lord, dude, that's a lot of stuff. And the hard thing about Thundercats, it's like Transformers. They sell out.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're redoing Wave 1. I think there's another update.
They did a reissue of Lion-O and Panther already.
Mm-hmm. And they're about to do a Spirit Jaga.
Yeah. That
was just released like this week.
Yep, I'm gonna have that one on order. I've already got the clear Tigra. It's already on order through BBTS. So, and that's what kind of hoses some of us is that they're only BBTS exclusives.
So then you're getting taxes and the $4 shipping.
Yep.
And they just did the exclusive New York City Comic-Con Muckman.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I saw
$70. Yeah, it was $70. Glow in the dark.
Yeah. The hard
Which is
part
funny
is like,
because here's what sucks though. That to me, I think was it Muckman or was it one of the other ones that looked like a Toxic Avenger? Because Tim had, when we worked Phoenix Fan Fusion in May, he had one of those that was glow in the dark already. It was pink. The box was pink.
Yeah, that's the.
And I saw.
Was it the NECA or the one or
no, that was Super 7.
NECA Super 7.
No, it was Super 7. And I'm trying to think who's the one that came with Joe Eyeball. Was it Mutagen? Oh, it's never mind. It was Mutagen Man.
Yeah, Mutagen Man. I remember seeing Mutagen Man from NECA.
No, because it was Super 7, but it was a glow in the dark Mutagen Man, but it's Muckman. That's the New York City Comic Con. Got them mixed up.
Okay.
They both similar backstories.
Yep. Yeah, Shoki's saying, the Borg Queen. Yep, I want a Lakotas, I want a Borg Queen. And then I want a 7 of 9 from Voyager.
Can't complain with 7 of 9, dude. I will all day. All day.
7 of 9.
Yep, that's our childhood.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. Is like I grew up with, original series was my first one. My first introduction to Star Trek. I watched them all when I was a kid. Then Next Generation came out. I taped that on VHS and watched it. I missed Deep Space Nine.
I really like Deep Space Nine. That was one of my Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager by far were huge.
See, I missed Deep Space Nine because of the timing, because they weren't showing it on local TV. But then Voyager got picked up on UPN at the time. And so Voyager, they played every week. So I was watching Voyager, but everybody kept saying, "Did you see what Cisco said?" I'm like, who's, I'm like, Deep Space Nine? Yeah, they don't show that here.
I can't remember what, I think with Deep Space Nine, the other good series, so I was in England at the time, so I only had 5 channels. So like, things only came on like periodically, but one thing that did play frequently that I really did enjoy was Babylon 5.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
another series that was ahead of its time. I think that ran in parallel kind of with Deep Space Nine, I think.
Yeah, it was up
It
the
was
same
same. It was same
time.
premises because it was based on being like on an actual ship. But both series, dude, I could watch those things all day long.
Yeah, that's why I was so happy when Battlestar Galactica came back out in 2000s. I was like, oh yeah.
What is it? What they say? Was it frick? Is that
What
the
the
word that
frack?
they? Or the frack? That's what it was. Frack. It was frack everything, and you knew
Yeah,
exactly what it was supposed to be.
yeah. And then the damn toasters didn't look like toasters.
I think they did a really good job with Battlestar Galactica as a reboot. I mean, the original was only one season and a movie.
Yeah, I mean they did. Well, I mean, and it was enough to let you know what a Cylon looks like. Like you knew that was a Cylon when you saw it. Um, and it was the same premise though too. It's like you have a Cylon that got evolved to not wanting to be a Cylon anymore. Or even the best part, they find out people are Cylons who never knew they were. You know,
Sleeper agents.
oh yeah, and you felt bad for him too, though. You did. You're like, when they finally realized, oh crap, I'm a bad guy.
But that was a huge for me. Like that, I thought was fantastic because like normally when I watch things, I can kind of pick up pretty quickly. Like normally, not everything, but the majority of times I can usually pick it up. Dude, I got slapped in the face so hard when the old dude, the second in command, and I
Yeah,
was like,
Lieutenant. Yeah,
what? I was like, oh my god! But it's kind of like the talking point being like, where can artificial intelligence go? Where can divine creation go? Like, there's all these things you could talk about. I just think they did a really good. I don't know. I just honestly, God, like I thought the CG was good. I thought the character development was good. I think the supporting cast was amazing because like I don't feel like there was ever one character. Normally in the show, there's like one character, everybody revolves around them. They could literally go from like point to point to point to point and have an episode and not bring back somebody else for like 2 or 3, but you still knew who they were. You still knew what was going on. Continuity was moving forward. It was just extremely well done. And I felt like it could have gone for longer.
My favorite part is like they showed the transition. Like, okay, they're traveling and they're traveling and they travel, and then they finally get to Earth at the end, and you're like, and they don't know what Earth is. Like they don't know because I mean they've been their civilization's been gone for so many years
Mhm.
that they go back and they're like Caprica. I'm like here we go. Yeah, but what was good though is like they had Razor, the movie, and then they had the plant, and the plant of course showed what they were going to do, like when the Cylons were going to invade, how they were going to do it. So they tied up loose ends a lot. Then they had Caprica come out, and show the prequel series, of what
Yep.
I was like, dude, this is perfect. Like that whole series. Now, don't get me wrong, there was like plot holes and stuff like most shows have, but
Yeah.
at least there was a start and there was a finish to the end.
Mhm.
When the president walked out into Earth and said, "We are home," like you knew, okay, it's over. That's the end of it. It was kind of funny. It's like that Pixar movie where Wally, like they finally go back to Earth. It's the same thing. It's like they had that moment of clarity, like, oh, okay, we're home.
Yeah, and it's tough to find anything that doesn't just fall off and get canceled before they come to completion. That was something that I think that they really forced to make sure it ended on the right note.
Mm.
And I'm hoping that's kind of what they do with oh god, why did I forget what it's called? It's on Amazon. It got dropped by Sci-Fi and picked up by Amazon.
Umbrella Society or
Oh
the
no, forget that, dude. The Umbrella Academy is garbage. I hated that. That's just a stupid ripoff of Marvel. Oh my god, it's a sci-fi series. It's kind of based off of the fact when you've got like, why is my brain not working? As soon as I see
let's
it,
see, they've had Rings of Power lately. They've got Wheel of Time, um, which I really like. Wheel of Time.
I heard it was really
Uh,
good.
it's very good. It's very. I mean, and it's because it's based upon a book. It makes sense.
Yeah,
Same with Rings of Power. It's based upon a book. But that's the two big ones because we were between that and
No,
House of
the
Dragon.
the Expanse.
Okay.
Really, really good series. Really good series. Coming from somebody who studies science, the fact that it's more realistic than most stuff, um, I really like it. And the character, its development, it just takes too long to make. But yeah, no, but I know I need to watch Wheels of Time. Wheels of Time, that's supposed to be really, really good. Rings of Power, I
Mm,
still need to, I need to see all that stuff because I'm a big Tolkien fan. I've read the books. But yeah,
mm.
Expanse is really good. That had no reason to get canceled by sci-fi. But I'm glad Amazon picked it up and just dropped even more money on it, and it's still continuing to hold up.
That's good. Well, they had one. We just watched one. I forgot the name of it. It's got J.K. Simmons and it's got Sissy Spacek in it, and it's literally they find this place in their farm, and they've been going to this place for like 50 years, but where they transport themselves to a foreign dimension is what they do. It's a very good show. I forget the name of it. I'll have to find it and send it to you. I mean, it's just interesting the whole concept of the story.
It's got me intrigued
Let
because
me see.
because I'll tell you one series that I wish lasted longer because I think it was too early for CG. Was Terra Nova. I
Yeah.
really liked that series because it had the general dude from Avatar, and
Mm.
I think it was really really good. It was just too expensive, and the way that they ended it was so cool that I was like, oh my god, I really want to see more. But then because it was too expensive, Fox just because I think when it opened, it was the number one highest expense pilot of all time.
Night Sky. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay. What streaming
Prime.
service or
Amazon.
got it?
Yep. Yeah, Night Sky. That one's good.
Sweet. And HBO just canceled Westworld.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's done. I never saw a single episode. My wife watched it. She really liked the first season. But yeah, I just saw the report today that they've canceled Westworld.
Oh.
I
They've
think
been
the
doing.
first two or three it took a long time for each season to come out.
Yeah. Well, when you take 3 years to come out with a season, you're acting like freaking Martin with the damn, you know, Game of Thrones book. That's what kills it for them.
Well, he wasn't anything original either. He just to me ripped off Tolkien and created his own thing with, I guess you could say like British history and monarchy and incest. Like that's the only way that he could keep people engaged. But I don't think he did anything worthwhile or exciting to me. I didn't have any. I watched like all the way up until like the very end. I have no interest in seeing House of Dragon. I just don't care. It's been done so bad. Like I would have preferred a whole thing on Jon Snow and We the North. I would have been way happier with just watching stuff about that than the way that they took it. I know the HBO had to take creative liberty because he was too slow
Yeah.
to finish the books, but I just was never really all that impressed with what they did because we talked about it. I didn't see much that was really original. I just saw rip off of something else.
Well, like I've read both Tolkien and I've read Martin. I've read both series of books. I think Martin's could have been better if he didn't get stuck in his own world. Trying to build this thing up. Like, for example, the Jon Snow dynamic. Jon Snow is a Targaryen.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank. His name's Aegon Targaryen. Like, that should have been done within the first season. Like, show it. No, he's the true king. Put him on the throne. Not treat him like he's a stepchild throughout the whole series. Oh, by the way, he's the cousin of Daenerys. And so, guess what? Cousin, get behind me. Like, be that king, like you could have done. Like in House of Dragon, they do it right. Like, literally, no, you're a dick. You're going to die. You're dead. That's it. It's over.
But like what you just said though, like he got busy building his own world. So who is he copying? You had Tolkien create his own language. You had a guy who, before he even did the books, created his own world. He had the whole description of Middle Earth. You got something like the Silmarillion, which you would consider the Bible, telling you about the creation of all the different types of characters that would take precedence in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. His son has even helped with this story of Middle Earth, which is like another 12 or 14 part volume of stuff. Like, he did way more to create stuff. Yeah, Tolkien got carried away where he would spend like 30 pages describing like a freaking set of flowers, and then a war would happen and it would take 2 pages. Yeah, he did that all the time, but at least like he conveyed a way better thing that I don't think, whatever his face could have ever done.
Well, and that's the main reason why Martin put dragons into his books. That's the only difference. If you look at the bigger avenue of it, the only thing we don't have in the Tolkien is a true king over all. And the reason why we don't have a true king over all is because there's not supposed to be. Every type of culture is supposed to have their own king or their own leader, and that's why Rings of Power, you're really gonna like it because of the way it's done. It explains, like, I never knew Elrond is a half elf. He's not a true elf.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that until I was like reading through. I'm like, oh crap.
So when you take into context, like, exactly what you said, the fact that in Lord of the Rings there is no one who rules above all. That's why Sauron created the Rings of Power as an evil villain to be the tyrant to rule over all, which we all know doesn't work. Yeah. And so that's the great concept about that. But like for Martin though, he was using it more from a relevant, like, historical standpoint that really did fall on like the Great British Empire and the Holy British Empire, kind of tying in with the Holy Roman Empire, where you had one monarch who ruled over at some point 40, 50 different countries. And it never worked, because how can you rule a country 1,000 miles away and you only leave like a dictator, like a delegate there? So I mean, like, there's things like that where you saw like just too much going on, where there's, to me, too many characters in Martin's work that were irrelevant, and then the ones that you wanted to die didn't die, or the ones that you wanted to succeed, like the Bloody Wedding, made no sense to kill off all those people. You could have killed like 1 or 2. You didn't have to kill everybody. And then what you did is you basically created a huge plot hole that didn't work, and then there was a scramble to figure that out because you wanted a shock and awe moment for the screen versus something that would help with continuity later on. It just didn't work.
Which is what's funny, is because the book is different than what the show is. Like, in that one, literally, Ned Stark's wife lives. She doesn't die.
She was a huge character.
It's like, why would you kill off a major character? Because what happens is she goes home, and she takes over everything, and then she goes to her house, her old house, gets them to support them, and then they fight against the Lannisters themselves before the big war happens. Across everything. And so I'm like, that's the only problem, is when you're having an active book versus an inactive book. Tolkien's books have been written; they're done. There's stories you can keep going, and the appendix. Like, I read through the appendix too. Going through the subplots. That they talk about. Like, for example, like in Rings of Power, just to give you a little spoiler, they talk about Harfoots and a Harfoot, and what a Harfoot really is, and what they will be in the future.
Okay.
So you'll have fun with Rings of Power. You want to know it as soon as you see them.
Okay.
You're gonna know what they are, but
because I remember I watched, like, there's some cool stuff where I watched like the development of the orcs and how they went from being something that was completely nocturnal to then being able to walk during the day. They went from being stupid to being more organized and things like that. Like, I love seeing the development of that. And you could see that in the Lord of the Rings, especially if you did the extended cuts that were like 4.5 hours long. But I'm excited because, like, reading like the Silmarillion and learning about Shelob's mom, who ended up drinking one of the trees of life to become so big that she became a danger to herself, and she was actually more powerful than whoever the evil guy. I can't remember. It's Sauron's
Morgoth.
Morgoth was basically his Darth Vader to his Sith Lord.
Yeah.
you know, like that stuff to me, I was hoping for I thought we were going to be getting a Silmarillion style thing with Rings of Power, but I'm still happy to get the Rings of Power because if this does well, I really do think that Amazon could go the way to start using things like in the Silmarillion, which is epic.
So this season, once you're done watching this season, you already know that there could be 3 more seasons after.
Yes.
Because of the style of what they've done in this one season. Oh, and by the way, the best part is Sauron's not a bad guy.
Well, shit. How many episodes is it? Like 8, 10?
8 or 10.
8 or 10. Oh, nice. Okay. I'm assuming they're knowing them, it's probably 45 minutes to an hour per episode.
Yeah. Yep.
Which would be good. Okay, so there's a lot they can pack into that. So after Wednesday, I got a few things I got to binge.
You do. You got to binge out. That's your first priority. Is that one? All right, brother. I'm gonna get off here, man. It's 10:30 here.
Yeah, it's late for you. All right, dude. Pleasure. Thank you, everybody who's been here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody on YouTube, Lynn. Hope you have a good one. All right. Bye.